What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 9LF, Chapter 146, 3 months. Riot New World, Valley of the Gods War. And just like that, the curtain came to an end. And 3 months have passed since this time. During these 3 months. As if it's the end of everything, that weird feeling, it's so weird, it seems. Everything but it's over, it seems. It's all the way it should be. This weird feeling is the most amazing. Everyone agrees and doesn't continue discussing everything about Rock's Pirate. This is true for everyone. They're opting not to discuss everything about Rock's Pirate. It's all like it's over, and because of that, it's all coming to an end. It's kind of weird, even very surprising feeling, and in such a situation, what will the next result be? The world government is indeed planning to erase the traces of Rock's Pirate's existence, and under the circumstance that everyone acquiesced in giving up, everything about Rock's Pirate seems to have ended like this. This is what everyone defaults to, or, everyone has made such a choice, it seems to everyone. Gia ha 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 ha. Little ones. Attack. 55. Attack. 99. Roar. Shaki looked down at the country below, and let out a crazy laugh. This is a strong alliance country, and such a country. At this moment, it is not worth mentioning in front of Shiki's eyes. Under the leadership of Shiki, a large number of pirates made a crazy and excited roar. Boom. Boom. The roar of artillery fire resounded, and this large number of pirates, just like lunatics, they all launched attacks frantically again and again. The member country, 903. In fact, it has become completely worthless. With the changes brought about by Rock's Pirate, on this sea, for most pirates, all of this is meaningless. It's just an allied country. Don't say it is an allied country, even a superpower. Or, even if it is any other country, in fact. This is the biggest change that Rocks has brought to the sea, once. No matter how crazy the pirates are, they are full of endless fear for these allied countries, superpowers, and even marine and world governments. And now it has become very different. Fear. Feel sorry. They don't have any fear at all, as long as they can get the gold and silver treasures that Laozi wants, it doesn't matter what is in front of them. Laozi doesn't care at all, no matter who it is, as long as he dares to stand in front of Laozi. Laozi did not take it seriously. And this is the current pirates, they are a group of real lunatics. Gia ha 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 ha. Looking at the country that was gradually coming to an end, Shaki laughed arrogantly. This country is nothing but the belongings of the Flying Sky Pirates. Little ones, give all the gold and silver treasures to Daddy, take it away. Oh hoo. In response to Shaki, there was a mad roar, and everyone in the Flying Sky Pirates was like a terrifying lunatic. Wow, wow. Accompanied by the waves sailing above the sea, a figure, like an afterimage, crossed in an instant. Brush, brush. The terrifying slash directly splits the opponent, and the whole person is Silver Axe. At this moment, Silver Axe's arms are like 2 giant axes. These are all modified mechanical arms, which are worth mentioning. Even in the Valley of the Gods, when Alan recovered everyone's injuries through the horse spell, he still did not recover Silver Axe's injuries, and now Silver Axe. Actually, rather than talking about other things, Silver Axe is actually more of a transformed person in the true sense after a complete transformation. This is the current situation of Silver Axe, because the initial loss of arms, loss of got a leg, and later. Silver Axe transformed himself directly into a transformed person, and it is through this method. Instead, the strength of Silver Axe has been improved again and again. The way of transforming people is actually not slow to improve their strength. It is even said that the speed is very fast, after all. As long as you are transforming people, as long as the technology is sufficient, all this is nothing but a matter of indifference. In a short period of time, Silver Axe's strength has indeed been greatly improved, but as a transforming person, when his own strength is raised to a certain level, he will reach a limit, and this limit is the most important. Is it possible to get higher technology, or say, is it possible to improve the strength through other methods? This is the most fundamental core. Silver Axe swept away all the enemies, and said with sharp eyes, Alan. You bastard, wait for me. I have reformed the Silver Axe pirate group. Next, I want to see, you what is the strength of. Snapped. Clenching his fist with one hand, Silver Axe was full of confidence and determination, and he was ready. Mom, are you my new husband? Linlin let out a crazy loud laugh. He looked at the terrified handsome man in front of him, but he was smiling fiercely. For Linlin, husband. In fact, just like clothes, it doesn't matter at all, you can change it anytime and anywhere. The only thing that really matters is the child born. As long as the child is born, everything else is meaningless. Just like the man in front of him, this is already a lot of clothes that Linlin has changed. Of course, it doesn't matter to such clothes. And standing not far away is a man. This man is the Charlotte family, the most terrifying monster of the Big Mom Pirates. Since birth, it is a monster that has never landed on its back. Charlotte Katakori. He looked at the man in front of him, but withdrew his gaze. His expression was very calm, and he thought secretly, next. It is to rule the entire Toto land area completely. Very well, let me take a look. Does the Toto land area have qualified opponents? A touch of scarlet light flashed across his eyes. Although Katakuri is still young, observation hockey has already embodied it to the fullest and is very outstanding. Snapped, snapped. Walking slowly on the road, Akoku is very indifferent to the corpses in front of him. This is just a piece of cake. What he has seen before is more terrifying than these, I don't know how much. It can be said, Akoku didn't pay any attention to these at all, he just walked quietly to the depths, looking at the devil fruit in front of him. A greedy look appeared in his eyes, and he murmured. It's all this devil fruit. As long as you have this devil fruit, you can have the power to fight against those monsters. Click, click. Akoku ate the devil fruit without any hesitation. To be frank, Akoku is a very smart person, and it is precisely because he is very smart that he can see very clearly that there is actually a gap between himself and Alan, Newgate, Shiki, Baloric and other monsters. Yes, this gap is very obvious now, and it will only become more obvious as time goes on. Finally, he is not the opponent's fault at all, this is the only result, and that's why. Akoku is not willing to do this, he is a smart person, but also an ambitious person, how could he be willing to give up everything like this? This is absolutely impossible. Under such circumstances, Akoku has also chosen what he should do. He knows that if he wants to be comparable to these monsters, there is only one best way, that's through devil fruit. And this devil fruit is the best choice. The damage of the entire Five Peaks Pirates has exceeded 50%, and this devil fruit is finally here. Wow, wow. The pirate ship galloped past the sea, and looking at the pirate flag, everyone knew which pirate group it was. John Pirates. This is John's pirate group, which once belonged to one of the cadres of Rock's Pirate. With the disbandment of Rock's Pirate, he formed his own John Pirate group. Now, John stood on the bow, holding a pirate knife, and roared loudly, "Little ones. Catch up, kill these guys in front of you. All the treasures belong to us." Oh who? 99. The pirates who follow John are all roaring wildly, in fact. You don't look at John a lot of the time when he is drunk, but John is not a drunk who gives up everything. Quite the opposite. John is a very crazy person, even a very scary person, his ambition is full of greed and madness, and the people who follow John are like this. Right now, they aimed at this pirate ship and the other's pirate group, without any hesitation at all, they wanted to kill the other party directly. Kill me, roar. John jumped up first. Only greedy eyes flashed in his eyes flashed with terrifying killing intent and full of endless madness. This guy left Rock's Pirate, so to speak. His own nature and heart it was completely released, the endless madness and greed. Kill, kill. A loud roar resounded, even roaring endlessly. The battle is still going on. Hey, 55. Do you only have this kind of power? Stop it. You want to arrest me with such strength? It's like a joke. At least someone like Sengoku or Garp, right? Roger threw the marine in his hand to the side, and shook his head indifferently. He didn't take these guys in his eyes at all. Too weak. It's just trash worth mentioning. Even though these marines work very hard, but their strength is not at the same level compared to the strength of the Roger Pirates. In the face of such an opponent, naturally, it is easy to deal with it. From beginning to end, it is not a level of snapped. All the marines were disposed of casually, and the Roger Pirates returned to their own pirate ships, at this moment. Although only 3 months have passed since the Valley of God War, but carefully looking at it, you will find that the number of Roger Pirates has increased a lot, and there is even a red-haired child. Ha ha ha. Roger laughed casually and said, "Are these guys really too weak? They're not worth mentioning at all. It's really boring. Compared to these guys, I'm more interested in facing other people." Indeed. Rayleigh also pushed his glasses and said, "But, Roger, first guess Marine doesn't have time to take care of you these days." What happened to Marine? Roger tilted his head strangely, he didn't mind being chased by Marine. After the Valley of the Gods War, Roger didn't belong to the Rock's Pirate, not only that, Roger was the one who teamed up with Garp to defeat the Rocks, and to everyone else, they weren't like Alan, who knew what was going on, because in this way, Marine attaches great importance to Roger, even saying, except for the 3 Edward brothers, he is the most important person, which has surpassed Shiki and others. Under such circumstances, Marine's pursuit of the Roger Pirates has not stopped for the past 3 months. Roger feels that it doesn't matter. In such a high-intensity battle, it is his strength. The improvement is very fast. Indeed it is. The improvement of pirates is divided into 2 types, one is either hard work, and after a day of hard work, one's strength has been greatly improved, and the other one. It is very simple. That is, after a bloody battle, under such circumstances, one's own strength will get the greatest improvement. This is actually the case with the people of the Straw Hat Pirates. They have become more and more in the bloody battles strong. Usually there is training, a combination of the 2. And the Roger Pirates don't care about this situation. Since they have come to the New World, since they have already stepped into this step. In fact, about everything that follows. They don't care at all. Things are up. Or, the entire Roger pirates just didn't take these into consideration, they just continued to become stronger under such circumstances. Rayleigh explained. Recently, Marine will be confirming the new Marshal Marine and Marine 3 Admiral, no surprises. There should be no time to take care of you 5.9. So it is. 35. Roger nodded carelessly and said, however, it doesn't matter. No matter what, it's a small matter anyway, we just watch it quietly and see what happens next. Ha ha ha. Rayleigh smiled casually and said, sure enough. This is Roger's character. However, it is indeed the case, it is not a big deal anyway, we will continue to watch it, no matter what, for us, going down step by step, but it is very interesting. What? With a smile on the corner of his mouth, Roger is very interesting. He has strong ambitions now, and he also wants to become a real overlord level pirate group in this world. Pirates in this era all have such ambitions when they go out to sea. There is no doubt about it, and there is no need to doubt it. Only in the future, because of the opening of the era of the great pirates. As a result, a large number of those adventurers have appeared. The same pirate. Such pirates are also very rare, and it is not an exaggeration to say that they are even rare, no joke. The number of these pirates is too rare, and even the Straw Hat Pirates are not a complete adventure. They are also pirates. Actually, every pirate in this sea is a group of real lunatics, and the era of this new world, with the destruction of the Rocks pirate, has gone completely rampant. And just like the Roger in front of him, he is a person who can attack a country for his companions. It can be seen from here, don't think so good. Of course. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Still the same sentence, the world is as black as a crow, and no one should laugh at anyone. This is something that doesn't matter at all. Chapter 147. New Marshal Marine or 3 Admiral. In such a runaway era, it was natural for Marine to deal with all this in the shortest possible time. But, Roger rubbed his chin and said very strangely, where are the 3 guys Alan, Newgate, Kaido? It's really weird. These 3 guys seem to have disappeared. Indeed. Listening to this, Rayleigh, Jabba and the others all nodded. The Valley of the Gods War is over. Rocks Pirate disbanded. Up until now, 3 months have passed, and during these 3 months, everyone felt that the pirates who should really replace the Rocks Pirate and become an almost invincible pirate group were the 3 Edward brothers. Group. After all, the strength of the 3 Edward brothers is really there, but as a result, some problems occurred. The 3 Edward brothers disappeared, as if they had never appeared. This is the most strange thing. What happened? Where did the 3 of them go? Nobody knows. Even if almost all parties are looking for it, they cannot find these 3 brothers at all, but the more this is the case, the more dignified it is. The reason is very simple. Anyone who is not an idiot knows that these 3 brothers are real monsters, and each guy's heart is full of absolute terror and madness. They have no intention of showing mercy, and in this way under the circumstances. The more the brothers did not appear, the more serious everyone became. No one knew where the 3 brothers went. Similarly, everyone looked solemn, and they didn't want these 3 brothers to suddenly appear. Because this is the most terrifying situation. Ha ha ha. Roger laughed and said, although I don't know where these 3 guys went, but it doesn't matter. If nothing else, according to the characters of these 3 guys, it is impossible to hide for too long time. Indeed. 35. Rayleigh nodded and said, but according to my consideration, they should have something that is not ready, otherwise, they will not show up. In fact, this is also a very interesting thing, according to the strength of these 3 guys. Even if it's just the 3 of them, they're still monsters. 35. That's right. Just like the Whitebeard Pirates in the original book, is the Whitebeard Pirates strong? Strong. But 06 is where the Whitebeard Pirates are strong. Actually, it's because Newgate is so strong that the entire Whitebeard Sea is so strong the thieves are too powerful. And because of this, the Alan, Newgate, and Kaido brothers are one. So, it doesn't matter who the people are, it doesn't really matter. Because the strength of these 3 brothers is really here, it's just that the 3 brothers have invincible strength. Wow, wow. As the pirate ship galloped into the distance, Roger said carelessly, it doesn't matter. But this is the most interesting thing. What will happen next in this sea? It's really interesting. Yes, everyone like Rayleigh and Jabba are all smiling, it's really getting more and more interesting. Wow, wow. The pirate ship was galloping away into the distance, and this figure was Burndee, and what appeared in his eyes was a sharp killing intent. He said savagely, everyone. Give Laozi the best preparation and attack. Attack. I don't believe it anymore, but I want to see who the opponent is. Yes. With Burndee's roar, the pirate group running in front of him made Burndee furious. Joke. How dare you break ground on Tai Sui's head? It's just like a joke. Do you think you can leave without any trouble after stealing Laozi's things? Stop making trouble. This is absolutely impossible. Or, it is absolutely impossible. Kill. Kill. 99. With Burndee's roar, he went straight into the distance. As the captain of the Burndy Pirates, Burndy is not a member of the Rocks Pirate, but the same. Burndy also has his own ambitions. Or, again, it is the strangest thing for people who go to sea in this era if they do not have ambitions, no matter who they are, as long as they go to sea in this era, they all have their own ambitions. Only, with the passage of time, some people's own ambitions cannot be realized, so they choose to retreat, and now, in this era, the Rocks Pirate has just come to an end. How can Burndy retire? Momo 100x gun. As Burndy took out the pistol, in an instant, the extremely fast bullet turned into a cannonball that covered the sky and fell suddenly. Boom! The monstrous roar resounded. Crackling. Crackling. Like an afterimage, Jep's speed is extremely fast, and his offensive is very astonishing. In a short period of time, under this extremely fast speed, one by one enemy has been beheaded, and his foot once again stained with blood. This is the origin of the title of Zap's Red Feet. On this sea, only the wrong name is called, and there is absolutely no wrong nickname. When Jep disposed of the garbage, he said disdainfully, "It's really not worth mentioning at all. How dare a guy like this come to make trouble? It's just looking for death." 99. Humph. Jep is full of arrogance, and Jep was not a good person when he was young, and he was also a ruthless guy. "Captain, it's all dealt with." Jep nodded and said very indifferently, "Don't need to pay attention to these guys, take away the treasures of the other party, and we will continue the voyage to the next stop." 39. It is good. Listening to Zapu's words, everyone nodded, quickly harvested all the treasures, and then left. And this is what pirates are best at, and the same is true for Zap. What he is best at is this kind of life. For any pirate, this is not a strange thing. Zap is very good at all of this, he knew even more that the next one would be a tough battle. After all, Zap wasn't an idiot, he guessed a lot of everything. Set sail. Wow. With the departure of the pirate ship, Jep narrowed his eyes slightly and looked into the distance quietly, as if he was thinking about something. Woo. He let out a sigh of turbid air, and Green Pepper sat cross-legged on the deck, looking at the phone bug in front of him and shaking his head. "Dad. There is no news, Edward's 3 guys are like disappearing, there is no any, the news is very strange." "I see." On the other end of the phone bug came a voice that was old but full of energy. Obviously, just listening to this voice is enough to know what's going on. This man is the father of Green Pepper. And Green Pepper is the pillar of the 8 treasures navy in the land of flowers, and who is Green Pepper's father? Actually, this is beyond doubt. Green Pepper's father is all the navy in the land of flowers, the main pillar. If the Green Pepper grows steadily, the next general pillar in the future should also belong to the Green Pepper. After all, the Green Pepper has such a qualification. Pity. In the original work, there were some problems. After the Green Pepper was defeated by Garp for his own reasons, there was a problem with his mentality. The whole person was almost decadent, and under such circumstances, it was natural. A lot of everything all have problems. Dad, is it necessary to pay so much attention to these 3 people? 99. Stinky boy. Facing the doubts of the Green Pepper, the phone bug heard an angry roar, and scolded angrily, "Stinky boy. You should understand a little bit for Laozi. Do you know that the other party's strength is extremely strong? And Laozi told you how many times has this stinky boy been? Don't be too arrogant, there are countless strong men in this sea, do you want to make yourself a wretch? I see." Green Pepper also nodded. He did not make any guarantees, but the more so, the more it proved that Green Pepper really knew a lot. There is no doubt about this. A helpless sigh came from another part of the phone bug, and said calmly, "Stinky boy. Everything that follows is what you need to deal with, and you need to work hard to transform. Also, remember that failure on this ocean is not scary. If you can't afford to fail, the outcome is indeterminate." Alas. 99. With a sigh, the phone bug hung up, and Green Pepper was also thinking about something. New world. It can be said that the most chaotic and violent era has been opened. With the demise of Rock's pirate, everyone feels that the next thing will be calm. But the fact is, it's not at all, or even to say. Instead, it's more and more chaotic, but more and more terrifying, and even the riot has reached an ultimate, and what is the reason? In fact, it is already in front of us. This era is an era in which heroes dance, and it is also an era in which heroes emerge in large numbers. In this era, with the demise of Rock's pirate, it does not mean that everything is over, on the contrary, it is just the beginning of everything. This is something that cannot be denied. What you have to admit is this. In this chaotic era, if anyone dares to be careless, the result of their efforts will be their lives. Instead, the whole world will become more and more chaotic and turbulent. Under such circumstances, Marine needs to deal with everything in the shortest possible time, otherwise, it will become more and more troublesome. Snapped. The sound of extremely fast footsteps came from the naval headquarters, and this kind of sound actually spread all over the naval headquarters. Experience the Valley of the Gods' War. Right now. The whole Marine is like a waste of time, everything is in front of you, you need to deal with it quickly, otherwise. It will just become more and more troublesome. Mr. Sengoku, Mr. Garp, Mr. Zephyr. This way. That. Quote dot 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 single quote. There is a lot of work to report and need to be dealt with, and under these tasks, Sengoku, Zephyr, Garp, and Crane feel that their souls are going to be rigid. They really did not expect that the final result would be like this. Wu, looking at everything in front of him, he really let out a deep breath. His face was very ugly, and Garp shook his head and said, absolutely impossible. It is absolutely impossible for me to become an admiral. Mr. Kong, you needless to say, there is absolutely no way first could be Marine Admiral. 5. Sora looked at Garp, who refused without hesitation, and said calmly, Garp. I know what your thoughts are, but you should be equally clear, Marine. Garp refused without hesitation. Mr. Kong, I know what you want to say, just. For me, I would rather give up all this, and it is absolutely impossible to become Marine Admiral. Marine Admiral is not my choice, I also can't be the lackey of celestial dragons. All right. Sora also nodded. He knew, Garp is absolutely impossible to become Marine Admiral, simply. Crane's strength is also very good, basically there will be no problems, there is no doubt about this. After thinking for a while, Sora said, however, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Suru are the Marine Admirals, so there is no problem, but. Garp, your hero's medal is also fixed, and you can't get rid of it. What? Garp casually clasped his mouth and said, am I a hero? Hee. Seeing this scene, Sora just smiled and shook his head. It is undeniable to say. 903 After the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Marine's damage was indeed quite large. A marshal and an admiral fell, not only that. There were also a large number of mid-level combat forces falling, and it was fortunate that many of Marine's students were it can be filled quickly, otherwise. Even if the situation of the stable sea is dealt with, it will become very difficult. Sitting empty in the office, he is thinking about all the situations. Sengoku walked over quickly and asked, Mr. Sora, how is the proposal for recruiting from the world? Sora shook his head and said, rejected. There is no way out. What the world conscription brings is that Marine's rights will fall into the hands of outsiders. This is something that cannot be denied. Sengoku, you know it too. 35. Even though they all grew up in Marine, but they are not idiots, and they are very clear about the current situation, it can be said. Except for the standard idiots like Aramaki, most people have their own ideas. A smile means that he wants to maintain the justice in his heart. As for the wild animal husbandry, I can only say that this guy is really enough of celestial dragons. Although there is nothing wrong with saying this, it is just embarrassing. It was also recruited from the world. What did you look like when you smiled, and what did you look like in the wild animal husbandry? This is a very embarrassing thing. It can only be said that no comparison means no harm. Basically, this is the most appropriate thing to do. Other than that, thinking about everything in front of him, Sengoku thought about it. How about a different method? Can recruits be selected from all over the world? Otherwise, it's impossible to support only internal training. Can. Sora nodded. There is no problem with this proposal, the world is recruiting. It means that as long as your strength is enough, you can get the corresponding position, and the world recruiting selection, you are just recruiting. Listening to Sora's words, Sengoku also nodded and said, Mr. Sora, the next era will become more and more troublesome. We really need to prepare. 35. Sora nodded and said. The old man also knows about this, but. No matter what, everything is already here, no matter what. This is something we can't deny, other than that. Edward's 3 brothers are there still no traces? It didn't show up. Listening to Sora's question, Sengoku also shook his head. Sora said quietly, okay. There is no time to deal with this matter, Sengoku. Prepare for the world recruit selection and prepare for the recruitment of personnel, and at the same time, prepare for the succession ceremony. Quote. It is good. Sengoku also started to get busy. After 3 days, the new naval headquarters marshal and the 3 admiral of headquarters were all settled. Not only that. This time, a new title appeared. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 3rd update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 148. The 3 Edward Brothers Barbecue. Marshal Marine, Kong Sora. One of the 3 admirals of naval headquarters, Sengoku. One of the 3 admiral of naval headquarters, Black Arm Zephyr. 35. One of the 3 admirals of naval headquarters, Baihei Crew. And also, heroes of naval headquarters Vice Admiral, Iron Fist. Monkey D. Garp. Looking at the information in front of him, Alan sat cross-legged on top of the clouds, rubbed his chin, and said very casually, it feels like this. It's probably like this, it's really a pity. Marine still has no way to recruit soldiers from the world. Goo la la la. Newgate walked over and sat down directly with his knees crossed, saying, brother. Isn't this a joke? Those guys in the world government, how could they allow such a thing as a world conscription? After all, this means that Marine will leave. They're in control. That's exactly what it says. However, never mind. Alan rubbed his chin for a while and shook his head. then said casually, "It's not a big deal anyway, just keep looking at Marine's situation." 39. Indeed. 99. Newgate nodded in agreement, then raised his head and said strangely, "Brother. Didn't you mean barbecue? What about the stuff?" Alan shrugged and said, "Let the third child prepare, and it should be brought over soon if there is no accident. However, this day is really boring. I feel that my body and bones are going to rust, and those guys are one by one." Pretty arrogant. 99. A wicked smile opened at the corner of his mouth, but Alan felt that he was really bored during this time. It's been 3 months. During the 3 full months, the 3 Edward brothers are located in the sky on the sky island that you have prepared. As for what to do, it's just that the pirate ship is still a little worse. The pirate ship of the 3 brothers has been built for a full 8 years. After all, it will be completed in about 2 months. After all, it's all so many years. The time has come, and naturally it is to keep improving, and it is not bad for the last 3 or 5 months. The 3 brothers stayed here, taught the little devils, and practiced on their own. Basically, this is how they live. No, I felt it was too boring, so the 3 brothers came out to have a barbecue. Search. A meandering blue dragon fell down immediately and turned into the figure of Kaido. The 3 brothers studied and researched, and soon they put a huge skewer on the oven, and there were a lot of barbecued meat. As for these things, why not let others do it? This is what the 3 brothers want to eat by themselves. To put it bluntly, it is barbecue. In this case, of course, no one else is needed. The 3 brothers can study it by themselves. 99. Alan placed the barbecue, rubbed his chin and said, "The third one, where's the wine?" Kaido said directly, "I threw it in the sea, ready to freeze it. Brother, will you drink it now?" "Don't worry." Alan shrugged casually and said, "Take your time, it's just the 3 of us brothers, of course, you don't need to worry too much about this kind of thing." The 3 brothers are playing around at will. Of course, according to the strength of the 3 people, although I dare not say how delicious it is, but for the control of the heat, it must not be unpleasant to make. But, barbecue. Barbecue. This thing, you eat it with whom you eat, not whether it tastes good or not. This is the most important thing. Because of this, the 3 brothers don't care if there is too much of this thing. Good to eat. To put it more simply, the 3 brothers were just chatting and drinking, and they simply made a little barbecue. Woo. Using the charcoal fire to light a cigarette, Alan exhaled a puff of smoke comfortably, and said casually, "However, Marine is forced to die in this situation. According to the credits of Sengoku, Zephyr, and Crane, in fact. They to be a Marine admiral, it's still a little bit unattractive, still not qualified." 99. Newgate ate the steak, which was almost medium rare, and said carelessly, "Brother. I think this is a normal thing, after all. Marine has almost reached the limit, and they want to deal with all this. It can't be dealt with, it's no surprise." Indeed. Alan nodded in agreement after thinking for a moment. Marine has brought out more people now. If you continue to delay time and let them take credit, then it will be the most troublesome thing, after all. Justice recognized by the world. Still Marine. World government represents justice in this world. Stop it. For most ordinary people, they do not approve of the world government, and even have a huge resentment against the world government. This is not a strange thing. For them, they simply cannot bear such a layer of wear and tear. Especially the arrival of celestial dragons, that is the most terrifying thing. And, the one who really represents justice is Marine. For this world, Marine represents real justice. Marine's actions are the real justice. It can be said, this is what each of them thinks, and it also represents almost everyone's thoughts. Everyone on the sea thinks this way, and Marine needs to show his posture quickly. Tell the world that Marine's power still exists. After all, the current era is very chaotic. If Marine can't stabilize his roots, then there is a huge problem. What? It's fun. Kaido ate the meat in one bite, and said carelessly, "Big brother. Second brother. Speaking of which, Marine's situation is really embarrassing. I have learned a bit about Marine's overall strength during this time. Amazing. What a pity. It's good to have the remaining part of the Marine now." Shaking his head sadly, Kaido didn't expect it to turn out like this. Alan also thought about it. Indeed, Marshal Marine, the 3 Admiral, the Chief of Staff of Naval Headquarters, the Chief Instructor of Marine College, the Chief of Marine Anti-Crime Bureau, and the Chief of Sword Force, among others. Outside, and the Administrator of Impel Down, and the Chancellor of Enies Lobby. Essentially, this is all Marine's power, a total of 11 Admiral-class combat power. This is the complete combat power Marine should have. Pity. Shrugging, Alan said casually, as time goes on, Marine will only get weaker and weaker, although it has these in name, but unfortunately, everything is meaningless. 55. Is not that right? Newgate continued. Impel Down is good to say, Enies Lobby has now become a decoration. As for Sword and the Anti-Crime Bureau, it's just a joke. Without the supplement of world government, Marine himself wants to cultivate so much. Admiral-class powerhouse is almost impossible. 35. Regarding this point, Newgate was very indifferent, although he said, There is a saying that the Emperor is the same level. In fact, the Admiral level is also slightly weaker, of course. It can't be regarded as a monster of the older generation. This point is clearly demarcated. As for talking, where did this point come from? Or the most shameful one, the most embarrassing one, the wild animal husbandry expressed all this vividly. That is really shameful and thrown home. Anyway, the shame of the wild animal husband is too lazy to complain. From this, it can be seen that marine strength is actually very terrifying. If there are 11 admiral rank, even the strength of these 11 admiral ranks is slightly weaker, at the 4 emperors. The results of it, stop it. The 11 admiral level members of the 4 emperors pirates are all hanging up for you to fight. This is the fundamental reason, the most important, and the most fundamental core reason. Gudong. Enjoyed. Kaido drank the wine comfortably and said carelessly, brother. What you said, isn't it the same thing as a joke? Just relying on the situation of the world government. How could they really hand over everything to Marine? It's impossible. Alan nodded. Indeed. He opened a bottle of beer and drank it. At first, the world government has just been established. Perhaps, the Marine built to maintain its peak combat effectiveness is to better maintain the entire world, but as time goes by, when the entire world stabilizes, and gradually it does not need to be so when the power is strong, it is natural to guard against Marine. As a position that is roughly equivalent to a military governor. And when your troops are getting more and more terrifying, what do you want to do? Just something that absolutely needs to be considered. There is no doubt about it. However, Kaido thought about it and said, actually, it's quite a boring thing, no matter what Marine is. In fact, they will not be able to enter the New World after that. Do you know if the Marine branch of New World has been repaired? 55. Who knows? Ghost knows. I guess it's impossible, right? Both Alan and Newgate find this unlikely. Alan shrugged and said casually, it's basically impossible. The possibility is too low, in the short term. The Marine branch of New World can't be repaired, after all. New World is basically a bunch of lunatics now. A gathering place for the same guys, want to fix it. It's so easy there. Listening to the words of their eldest brother, both of them nodded in agreement, indeed. The current New World is too chaotic. Almost everyone thinks, with the demise of the Rocks Pirate, the New World should return to peace. This is just an idea. In other words, it is impossible. After the collapse of Rocks Pirate, those guys will really show their fangs, no matter how crazy they were, of power. But, all that is not their own, and in that case, they will not work hard at all, and they will not be crazy at all. Under such circumstances, what will the next result be? In fact, there is no doubt about it. Things are up. These lunatics are really showing at this moment, and the terrifying scene is the most terrifying power. And because of this endless power is the most terrifying scene, isn't it? In fact, this is the most terrifying madness, because they are not limited by the past, but show everything about themselves. When such an amazing heart bursts out, it is the most terrifying. Suddenly something came to mind, and Newgate said, it's worth mentioning. This guy Shiki is quite crazy recently. He attacked 7 or 8 allied countries in a row in one breath, and it looks like I am the only one. 35. Cut. The Flying Sky Pirates. There are so many questions. Alan curled his lips and said, that's a pointless thing. The lessons from the past are already there, Captain Rocks can't really control it. What's more, Shiki, even if Shiki reaches Captain Rox's one day in fact, it doesn't make any sense at all. Alan is very clear about this, it doesn't make any sense at all. Because, no matter how crazy Shiki is, how powerful, or even say, not the terrifying force of nature. The Roger Pirates are about to be killed, and the Flying Sky Pirates already have such strength. Only, there is still a big problem, so to speak. Just like Newgate said, when everyone is full of ambition and has the attitude of overlord, then everything is meaningless. Alan is very calm about this, and it's natural enough to say that all Shiki has to go through is failure. Anytime, no matter what kind of time, Shiki goes through absolutely failure, impossible to succeed. Shaking his head calmly, Alan is very indifferent and calm about this. 66.99. But, 95. Apart from Shiki, everyone else is interesting too. 35. Indeed, the 3 brothers were discussing, and they felt very calm about this. Shiki's Flying Sky Pirates, Linlin's Big Mom Pirates, Roger's Roger Pirates, Akoku's 5 Peaks Pirates, Silver Axe's Silver Axe Pirates, John's John Pirates, and Burndee's Burndy Pirates, Green Pepper's 8 Treasures Marine Corps, Jep's Chef Pirates. 35. Alan thought about it. This is basically the most powerful pirate group in the New World right now. There are a total of 9 pirate groups, which are basically the most powerful pirate group in the New World, and more than half of them have gone out from Rocks Pirate. With such monsters, you think it's just Rocks the demise of the pirate, which is not the case. The demise of the Rocks Pirate represents the beginning of everything. Nuo's good, indeed it is. Kaido nodded and said, according to the information I got recently, it's basically like this. However, It's probably like this, big brother. The other things don't really matter, other than that. Kaido continued. The number of pirates gathered in New World is indeed very large. However, it is impossible to determine who they are. 99. Alan waved his hand casually and said, it doesn't matter anyway, if there is, I would like to see it when I meet Laozi. However, as for the strength of these guys, it doesn't matter. Alan is very indifferent. The reason is very simple, the pirate group formed by his 3 brothers will be in the future. Then it will definitely be the most powerful pirate group. Isn't this a matter of course? Alan really doesn't care about these things. This is an invincible thing, and his 3 brothers joined forces. Isn't the most powerful pirate group formed? It's just like a joke. But, Alan's goal has never been so simple. He is not only to become the most powerful pirate group, but also to surpass the Rocks pirate, and even surpass all the forces above this sea. This is his ambition. No kidding. In Alan's eyes, everything that follows this sea is what he wants. Everything, it is best to be able to take it into the palm of your hand. This is the best thing. I don't need to go to great lengths to rule, but rely on absolute power to make everyone have no heart to resist. This is what I want. As for everything else, I am really not interested at all. Drinking code. Eat meat. Ha ha ha. After a little discussion, the 3 brothers continued to eat meat and drink, full of heroism and fun. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 149. The world's new army conscription. Really are. Guillaume helplessly looked at his father, the second uncle, and the third uncle who had been drunk, and shook his head helplessly. It really gave people a headache. Who is this person in his own family? No matter how helpless it is. Guillaume the Garden could only ask people to carry the 3 fainted people away. At the same time, you heard, Naval Headquarters is recruiting all over the world. I heard about it. But, let me tell you, I would rather be a pirate than a marine, isn't that a dog for the celestial dragons rubbish? 35. That's right. 39. People in 2s and 3s are discussing this matter, and they are very calm about it, but more are full of disdain. At least, they are not interested in becoming a marine. Not for some strange reason, but they really don't want to be a dog for celestial dragons, and this idea is not just one person, but a lot of people have this idea. If it were back then, everything would be fine, but today everything has become completely different. In particular, with the passage of time, Rocks Pirate has shown its terrifying power, whether it is destroying the Marine branch, attacking the allied countries, or directly defeating Marine. All in all, such a series of actions have caused a lot of changes, let everyone's hearts be different. After all, there are many people who hope to live a stable life on the sea, but looking at it all, there are also many people who have other ideas. Under such circumstances, everything that follows is completely different. Things are up. Woo. A wisp of blue smoke was exhaled, and one of them shook his head and said, seriously. I really don't have much interest in becoming a marine, but it's even less of interest to be a pirate, and to be a pirate is all about being a pirate. What rubbish. Really. 5. Cut. All of them shook their heads, and I can only say that with the worldwide conscription of the New World Army this time, the impact is indeed very huge. It is undeniable that people in the whole world at this moment. It was as if they were discussing this matter. Many people are thinking about whether to give it a try. If you give it a try, will you get any huge gains? Of course, Marines World Conscription this time, for this sea, also led out many different people. They all have their own ideas, but many people have been unable to complete their own ideas. Now, they saw their opportunity. Just as there are many people you don't want to join Marine and become the dog of the 907 dragons, there are also a lot of people who think they can change all of this. It's all complementary, there's no doubt about it matter. And as time goes by, everything is in front of you, everyone will make their own different decisions, and as time goes by, maybe different monsters will be recruited. This is not a strange thing. As time goes by, everything that follows will become different, especially for this era. Everything is completely different. Clap clap, clap clap. Wearing a red short-sleeved shirt, this is a man with a tattered handle and a hat. He looks about 17 or 18 years old. His eyes are very sharp as an eagle. Eyes, step by step. I want to join Marine. Join Marine. And Marine, who was in charge of the assessment, also raised his head, and the moment he saw this young man, his eyes widened. The aura is simply too amazing. Marine also needs to be reviewed, after all. Although it is said that it is a new army recruiting worldwide, but because of this, it needs a good review, after all. If you are not careful, if some sick seedlings enter it, it will be very bad troublesome thing. And, you also need to consider, does it mean that someone will grope in secretly? This is also an important thing. It can be said, all of this needs to be handled properly. It really doesn't mean that you think you can, then you can just do whatever you want. It's really not that easy. At this moment, looking at this young man's aura, Marine said seriously, what's your name? Sakazuki. From North Blue. 17. Marine recorded it, but said seriously, All your information has been recorded. Next. The second stage of the assessment will be carried out. Be a little careful. I am very optimistic about you. 35. What? The corners of his mouth twitched into a hideous smile, and Sakazuki passed the first step of the assessment, and the next step is the second step. As for the result, it is impossible for outsiders to know. Is it here? The boy with a similar explosive head, his eyes were full of light, he walked over step by step, he was not very old, only about 11 or 12 years old. Only. Soon after arriving at the recruitment site, he said earnestly, I'm here to join Marine. 35. Join Marine. Marine, who was in charge of the review, seemed to want to persuade the child at such a young age, but looking at the other party's eyes that seemed to have burning flames, she was stunned for a while, and then said, what is your name? Name. Kuzan. Age 11. From South Blue. I see. Marine, who was in charge of the review, said seriously, Kuzan, the next step is your assessment. If you pass the assessment, you can join Marine as a recruit. If you fail, it's not a good thing for you. 39. I will make it. 35. Kuzan clenched his little fist and said seriously, I must realize my justice. 35. Ha ha ha. It is good. Marine, who was in charge of the review, watched Kuzan leave, and couldn't help but sigh, really an excellent boy. Like a burning flame, such a boy must be very good, right? Well, whatever it is, everything that follows is enough. He smiled and shook his head, but he didn't continue to say anything. He still has work to do. It's all his own work, but he can't be lazy. It's here. This is a very wretched-looking man, and he walked step by step with his hands in his pockets, as if he was a Laozi. Yo. 39. This Marine. Can first join Marine. Marine, who was in charge of the review, looked at this idiot and didn't know what to say for a while. How should I put it? I always felt very strange, his appearance, his situation, I always felt that he was not a good person what. But, this is the only thing that is responsible for the audit. As for the next step, it is not something that you should be responsible for. Pulsolino. From North Blue. 20 years old. Looking at Pulsolino, Marine, who was in charge of the review, said secretly, this is the second very good recruit from North Blue, right? 35. Seriously. Although it is said that Marine is only responsible for the recruit review, his abilities are also listed here, and a lot of them can be seen. What are the qualifications and strengths of these newcomers? Basically, what is the future growth? Can be seen. So far, including Pulsolino, there are 3 most monsters in total, Sakazuki, Pulsolino, and Kuzan, and 2 of them are from North Blue. As expected of the most dangerous North Blue. 35. He just sighed with emotion, and then sent Pulsolino in, he continued his work, and his work was not over yet. Moreover, he will continue to work very busy. Can first join Marine. 39. What? Looking at the young man who was walking step by step holding a cane, he was not very old, about 16 or 7 years old, but he was blind in both eyes. Only. The more so, Marine, who was in charge of the review, suddenly became serious. Normally, no matter how hard a blind man is, there will still be some problems, and although he is holding a cane, it seems that there is no change at all, he is still walking on the ground, and what does this mean? In fact, there is no doubt about it. This means that his qualifications in all aspects are very good. It is AGFJ, his observation hockey is very amazing. It is good. No problem. Report. He started to take care of it. Smile. From West Blue. 16 years old. Recording everything down, he smiled and said, young man, since you have chosen to join, Marine will become the most important thing for you. Work hard. 55. I will. He smiled and nodded, and then he entered it, his expression was very calm, and he gradually left step by step. And he shook his head with emotion and said, really? This kind of feeling is really not good, such a small child, who has gone blind in both eyes, has honed such an excellent observation hockey, but forget it. The rest of the matter has nothing to do with me, and it is meaningless to continue to consider more. He has to continue his own work, as for Yi Xiao's future. It can only be seen by himself. Whether he can succeed, he does not know. Let Jean. 55. You guys are all giving way to this uncle. The figure of a young man walked step by step, his carefree appearance was full of confidence, the corners of his mouth were wide open, and he said seriously, don't stop this uncle from joining Marine. 99. Ha ha ha. Hearing this heroic laughter, Marine, who was in charge of the review, looked at him, and then said secretly, it's also a monster with very penultimate qualifications. Although it was just a glance, it was still obvious. Marine, who was in charge of the review, was excellent in this regard. From Sakazuki, Kuzan, Pulsolino, Yi Xiao, etc. and other teenagers, I can see that their aptitudes are very penultimate, and the same is true for this teenager who arrived this time. 99. Quote. Nodding secretly, he continued to wait for the arrival of the other party. Wild Shepherd. From East Blue. 18 years old. That's it. After recording everything, he nodded and said, you can go in, but you have to work hard for the rest of the assessment. 35. Of course it is. Huang Mu was wearing sunglasses, and he was full of absolute confidence. Just kidding. How could he even fail the assessment? This is absolutely impossible. He will definitely succeed, there is no doubt about it. Looking at another confident teenager, he just shook his head and continued his work. This kind of work has been going on for a long time. It will continue for a longer time, at least, it will last for more than 1 month time. After all, this is a worldwide conscription, and they are all new. Of course, there are choices. If you are over 25 years old, you are not qualified, after all. If you are too old, you can't continue to hone just, it's pointless. Snapped. Snapped. Crane walked over quickly. She is different from being vice admiral in the original book. Now Crane is admiral. Her strength is naturally lower than that of Sengoku, Garp, and Zephyr. However, admiral is still competent for this position. This is not a big problem. Sengoku. 99. Crane. 35. Seeing the crane, Sengoku nodded and said, how about it? Is there any good seedlings for this time's world new army recruitment? No way. This is the best solution that Sengoku can come up with. Under the suppression of the world government, it is impossible to supplement it by other methods. World conscription is also not allowed, in that case. Then the best way is to have only one way, and that is to recruit soldiers in this way, to find the children of qualified penultimate all over the world, so, to cultivate, this is the best way. Thinking of this, Sengoku couldn't help but sigh. There are a lot of problems outside, but the result? There are still many problems inside. This kind of situation makes Sengoku feel very headache. Of course, whatever the outcome, these are the best opportunities, and if they don't take it, it's a huge problem for Marine. Crane nodded and said, this time there are still many good seedlings. Moreover, their aptitudes for penultimate are very good. The most important thing is that they are not from the world government. As long as they are taught well, their future growth is still unnecessary, questionable. Sengoku also nodded and asked, who are they? Sakazuki, Kuzan, Pulsolino, Smile, Aramaki, plus, Magellan, Shiryu. A total of 8 are the most outstanding, and other than that, there are many who are slightly worse. Okay. When Sengoku listened to Crane's words, the smile on the corner of his mouth became more and more intense. That's the truth. No matter what, you have to admit that on this sea, Marine still represents absolute justice. And those who have justice in their hearts, for them, the most important thing is Marine. As long as they have the opportunity to join Marine, they will never hesitate, just like at this moment, although they are young, even say. Many people have amazing talents, and they already have a strong strength at a young age. But that's what some people teach. Zephyr is different, he is very good at teaching, even saying. It should be called very good, and because of this, in such a situation, taking it's most appropriate that Zephyr is responsible for all this down. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. But 35. Gee. It is good. Sengoku looked at the outstanding children in front of him, and was thinking about something in his heart, and finally said, leave all the work to Garp, and let Zephyr be responsible for the teaching of these Marines. Crane also nodded. Zephyr is indeed the most suitable for this, as the saying goes. Maxima often has it, but Bowl does not often have it. This is a very normal thing for the instructor to teach. They still chose to join Marine, this is their choice, it is their ability, and it is their choice. Chapter 150, Little Devils. This is our future. Breathing lazily, Alan has a lazy look on his face. During this time, apart from daily training, he is basically eating and drinking, and he doesn't care about everything else. Dad. Guillaume walked over quickly and said, the world conscription on Marine's side is over. Ended. Alan leaned on the sofa and said casually, what is the final result? Guillaume shook his head and said, the specific situation is not particularly clear, after all. Internal information cannot be obtained, but I am looking for Shaki to buy information. Whether there is clear information on Shaki's side, I can't be sure about this matter. Alan nodded and said, okay. Just ask Shaki to have a look. It's best if you can buy detailed information. If you can't buy it, it doesn't matter. Shaki, formerly a member of the Rocks Pirate, joined the Rocks Pirate 5 years ago, and it's worth mentioning. Shaki may not be great in other ways, but he's exceptionally good at intelligence. As long as you can give enough money. Then, Shaki can sell you any information. As for where does this information come from? Seriously, it's really not clear, at least, there are not many people who know it. That's it. Alan also doesn't know where Shaki's information came from. It's just that this thing doesn't matter, as long as he can get the information, as for everything else. It's meaningless. For so many years, I have been buying information from Shaki. Although it is true that the price is a little bit dark, but in terms of completeness and accuracy, this is definitely something that is beyond doubt, Shaki. There is absolutely a lot of intelligence, this is something that does not need to be doubted. Okay, Dad. Guillaume nodded, while Alan thought secretly in his heart. I don't know how many people can be recruited for Marine recruiting this time, Sakazuki, Kuzan, Polsolino, and. Except for these 3 people, I can't be sure about other people, after all. At this point in time, nothing is right, because of the influence of my butterfly effect, it can be said that many things have been turned upside down. Change, and in this case, more of the situation is indeed less clear. Never mind. It's nothing particularly important, it's just. Alan shook his head casually. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter anyway. No matter how Marine's strength is improved, it is meaningless, after all. Instead of thinking about weakening others, it is better to think about it, is how to improve yourself. And this is the most important thing, even to say. This is the most fundamental core. What Alan wants to do is to be the strongest in the world. And if that's the case, then self-improvement is the most important thing. Do you expect others to let you go? It's like a joke. Stop it, it's just like bullshit. Do you think it's possible? Or, are you looking to weaken others and make yourself stronger? This is just a joke. Stop joking. On this ocean, real strength is the most important thing, other than that. Everything else is fake of. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Bagley and Tiger are fighting fast, after all. In terms of age, the 2 are the oldest, and in terms of the time they were adopted as adopted sons, the 2 are also a first and a second. Right now, the training of the 2 was very hard, and their strength was improved in the shortest time through such a fight. Crackling, crackling. The 2 quickly fought each other. Bagley's offensive was like that of a fierce tiger. It seemed to have no rules, but it was actually extremely fierce and fierce. And what about Tiger's hands? Murloc karate, Murloc judo. Basically, it's all easy to do, and it doesn't look like it at all. For a monster with a talent for penultimate like Tiger, as long as Tiger is given a chance and someone can teach him, then Tiger the growth of strength is basically a matter of course. This is not. Tiger's growth rate is very fast, not to mention. For Bagley and Tiger, the 2 feel very uncomfortable, and even have a very headache. No kidding indeed. The 2 also joined Rock's pirate very early. Are they considered strong? Maybe not. But they are definitely not weak, but allowed to participate in the last war in the Valley of the Gods. What is this for? The reason is very simple. They are too weak, and they are too weak to participate in such a battlefield, and it is almost certain to die. Because of this, the 2 of them are almost fighting hard to improve themselves. During this period of time, the strength of the 2 has been improved. What? After fighting for a long time, the 2 were gasping for breath, while Bagley wiped the sweat from his forehead, sat down weakly, cross-legged, and said, "It's really a shame. To be honest, Ty Greg, no matter what time it is, just thinking about it a little bit makes me feel very embarrassed." Yes. Listening to Bagley's words, Tiger nodded and said, "Obviously, everything has been prepared, but what about the final result? It is like this. Because of his weak strength, he is not even qualified to participate in the final." Quote. Alas. 35. The 2 looked at each other and sighed. Both of them had their own hearts. Bagley wanted to form his own pirate to go out and have a look, but if he wanted to become stronger, I want to see everything above the sea, and then prove to my elders that I also have this talent. As for Tiger, no more words needed. Tiger wants to protect the Fishman Island. This is what Tiger should do as a fishman, but no matter what. Time has changed, so many years have passed, and today, is this the end? Actually, there is no doubt that the 2 of them know that their strength is simply not enough. Although they have been working hard to improve themselves for so many years, it is still not enough at all. Many times, they are still slack. Actually, Alan discovered this problem at the beginning, these 2 little devils are not easy to say, and he can force them, but it is not suitable. Of course, he knows what it means, and if he is an elder, if he is forced, it is very simple matter. But some things are not so simple, or say. In other words, what really matters is the fundamental core. This is the most important, this is the most fundamental, and the most core thing. Your heart must be enough, be firm, in other words. Are you really ready yourself? This is the most important thing. If you are not prepared, then everything is just meaningless. Now, under the stimulation of Bullet and Carmenio and others, and then after adding the stimulation of the Valley of the Gods, they are all working hard to grow. This is the most important thing. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, "Bagley, Tiger, you 2 little brats, suddenly you are working hard." Snapped, snapped. The 2 of them turned their heads and looked at the father walking step by step. They couldn't help scratching their heads. Tiger said, "Father, we are too weak. Obviously, if we work harder, we should be stronger. The strength of it, the result. In the end, it was just like this. I really made myself a little unacceptable." Yes. Bagley also nodded in agreement. "Dad, we seem to have worked hard enough. But when everything is in front of us, the real discovery is made. Our so-called hard work is just like a joke. Not real effort." What? In this case, Newgate nodded and said, "Good idea. You can understand this, it is already a very important thing, for this sea. Remember, no one's strength is truly achieved. The peak, even the one-time captain of the rocks, is still true. Remember this, on this sea. There is no real invincible existence. 353. Anyone. Everyone. They are all chasing the invincible road, but this road is so easy. Newgate shook his head with emotion. This road called invincible, in fact. It is not so easy to walk, even to say, for many people, even this road is clearly in front of you, but it is really is it that easy to go on? Not really. Shaking his head with emotion, Newgate heard a voice behind him at this time, complaining, second brother. It's not like, you're just making a joke, although you say it. This road is not so easy, but it's not exactly because it is not so easy, if everyone is chasing. 99. If it's really that easy to become the strongest and invincible being in the world. That's the weirdest thing, isn't it? 35. He. Listening to Kaido's words, Newgate nodded with a smile. Indeed. You stinky brat is right, forget it. You don't need to say anything, right? Where's Big Brother? It's really weird. Why isn't Big Brother anymore? What? Kaido shrugged and said, I don't know where Big Brother is, but according to Big Brother's character, he should be coming soon. Daddy. 35. Uncle third. 55. Second uncle. Calls are coming, and the little guys such as Marco, Carmenio, Bullet, Abel, etc. are all walking quickly, although it is only a few months, but for these little guys. For guys, their strength, as if they had grown again, gave people a really different feeling. Ask for flowers. Kaido looked at the little ghosts, and nodded approvingly, one by one little guy. However, it seems to have grown very well. Everyone is smiling and scratching their heads. They are growing. They are really working very hard, very serious, and very determined to become stronger through exercise and hard work. 99. Isn't that what it should be? 35. As this voice came, everyone watched Alan walk step by step with Gion. Alan said casually, little brats. Isn't it a matter of course that you have such strength? Are you satisfied with this? ... Snapped. Looking at the uncle who came step by step, everyone grinned and showed a smile. How could this be satisfied? It's just a joke, they will become stronger and will improve their efforts step by step, to gain more power. This is their heart. This is what each of them thinks. Just because of this, how could it be the end? This is absolutely impossible. Ha. Looking at the little devils with firm eyes, Alan couldn't help laughing, and said boldly, that's right. That's right. That's it, you stinky little devils, if you even have such a firm heart. If you don't, it's really a shame to throw it home. Uncle, how is that possible? We are working very hard to become stronger. That's right. Point zero. That's right. He. Everyone showed a smile, although they were all careless, but they were really serious. Just kidding, how could they relax their vigilance so far? This is absolutely impossible, okay. They have to work harder, be more serious, and grow more determinedly, one step at a time. Everyone has to move forward firmly. This is their idea. Nice. Little devils. Next, it is our era. This era will be our era, and it will come to the future. Each of us is the master of this era. You all remember it to Laozi, you are all children of Laozi's family. Brat, you don't need to have any fear, improve your strength. You don't need to fear anyone, what are they? 35. Roar. Listening to Alan's words, everyone burst into a deafening roar, and everyone was very excited, even talking. It should be called an excited roar. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, brother. You look like you're brainwashing people. Really? Alan couldn't help rolling his eyes and said, dude, is there something wrong with your head? If you have a problem, I'll treat you. Ha. He. Listening to the quarrels of their elders, everyone couldn't help laughing, it was too funny. For their elders, this is the only time they would appear like this. Cut. Alan curled his lips and said very casually, okay. A group of stinky boys, laughing. Let me be serious. There is still a month at most, and our pirate ship is going to done. At that time, we have to show enough strength. 99. Remember, if anyone embarrassed me, I will hang you up for fishing. Did you remember it all for me? Uncle, you can rest assured. Everyone looks at their uncle's hideous smile and you already know it. This is definitely not a joke. That's why, it's better to be honest about this matter, otherwise. The ghost knows what will happen next. Anyway, it's good to be honest. 35. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said savagely, so. It's all for Laozi to remember, and everything that follows is the most interesting. Isn't it? Roar. 99. Everyone is screaming, just like what their uncle said, yes. This situation is the most interesting thing, the next situation. What will it be? And this is the most important thing. Kaido looked at the big brother and complained, Big Brother. Seriously, although it is an action, but who are we going to shoot against? This time, the opponent should be stronger, right? Otherwise, it's too boring. 99. He. Alan grinned and said confidently, don't worry. I have already made all the preparations. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 151. Second template. 8 demons, moon demon, curse blue. Ha ha ha. Drink wine. Bastard, are you raising goldfish for me here? 39. What? After the heated training, he casually found a reason, and then the banquet began. Following this deafening laughter, the guys laughed and laughed at the crowd. This is the pirate. No need for any more reason, it just feels that it is almost the same, and then the banquet is directly held. The banquet lasted until the early morning, and the little ghosts all drank and passed out. Alan returned to the room step by step. Rubbing his eyebrows slightly, Alan couldn't help but spit out, really, forget it. Forget it. Go to bed first. 99. Originally, I thought it was time to study the second template myself. Result. It turned out to be like this now. Since I drank too much, I will not study it for now, and I will talk about it until tomorrow. Lying on the bed, he soon fell asleep. Day 2. Opening his eyes in a daze, Alan skillfully lit a cigarette, and then, a puff of blue smoke spit out, "This is the beginning of research," and said, "System, open Laozi's attribute panel." 99. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Fire Demon Lord 100%. Magic. The magic of fire. 12 charms. Dragon charm Edward Kaido, Dog charm Edward Newgate. Ghost mask. Inactive. 8 demons. Demon of fire inactive. 9 ghosts general. Inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's hockey, superior, armament hockey, superior, observation hockey, superior. Looking at the panel in front of him, Alan nodded and said casually, "Sure enough. It's almost as I guessed. After giving the 12 spells to other people, the other people will take their place. If you calculate it like this what? 907. Ghost mask and general 9 ghosts repeat. 6,699. As if feeling Alan's complaints, the system panel in front of him actually changed afterwards. F*K. Alan watched the panel of general 9 ghosts disappear, and couldn't help complaining. I don't know how to complain. Your 3-no system is really too trashy. Really. It just makes people feel a headache when they look at it, forget it. I don't want to complain about you. This guy, I really didn't think of it, can it still be like this? Too lazy to shake his head, Alan thought about it, however. The first template has been activated to 100%, and then the second template can be extracted. The system will directly extract the second template. Following his order, the streamer in front of him appeared, replaced by something like a big turntable. Alan looked at the big turntable and found that there were 8 demons and 10 ghost masks on the big turntable, a total of 18 grids. And now, except for the Lord's grid that has been completely lit up, the other 17 grids are all black. Draw. 9. The next moment, Alan felt that he had consumed 5 of the 45 devil fruits he had originally stored, which made him raise his eyebrows and cursed secretly. Good guy. I still need to extract a new template. Devil fruit. 39. But, this 3-0 system is purely in the case of problems, and of course there is no ability to answer, very soon. As time goes by, as the turntable rotates, it gradually crosses the templates one by one, slowly came to the position of the moon demon, curse blue and stopped. Although he said that he had extracted the second template, and it was the template of the powerful moon demon curse blue, Alan secretly complained. I'm just thinking, if more and more templates are extracted in the future, does it mean that there will be options like thank you for your patronage? The more I looked at the Holy Master, the more strange I felt, and I always felt that something was not right. Never mind. Wait until the future. 35. 35. At this moment, a force different from the Holy Lord has poured into his body. Roar. Alan let out a terrifying roar, a terrifying breath burst out wildly, purple magic energy surged, and a monstrous flame was also burning. 2 fiery flames burned on Alan's body, burning violently and frantically. After a short period of time, everything gradually merged into Alan's body, and Alan's eyes opened, originally flashing red eyes. At this moment, a dark purple light flashed across it. Woo. Breathing out a deep breath, Alan clenched his fist with one hand, but his mind flashed, everything around him floated up, and then fell down again. Alan murmured. This is the magic power of the incantation blue, the magic power of gravity, it is indeed terrifying. Compared with the magic power of the chicken charm, it should be said to be comparable, but it is indeed one of the 8 great demons, and its power is indeed terrifying. Quote. Gravitational. Float. The two look similar in appearance, but in fact, in essence, there is a gap between heaven and earth, and they are not the same type at all. It can be said that they are completely different things, and the two have nothing at all. Comparability. The essence of floating is to use your own power to make everything float. This is the essence of floating, while gravity is different. The essence of gravity is to make this thing lose its original gravity, and you control it. This is everything. Fundamentally, the powers of the two are completely different. In other words, Alan can use the power of floating to make everything above the earth gather together to form a terrifying sphere and directly smash it down, and through gravity, it can directly pull down the meteorites in the universe, and then smash it down. This is the difference between floating and gravity. It seems that they do not interfere with each other, but in fact they complement each other. If the two forces are combined, the power will be stronger. But, Alan rubbed his chin and thought secretly, let's look at it now. How much does it take to develop the template of the incantation blue to the limit? System, eat 40 devil fruit directly. Invisible fluctuations swept away, and 40 devil fruit disappeared in an instant. Alan felt an invisible special force. At the same time, Alan went ahead and opened his own panel. Name, Edward Allen. Template, Devil of the Moon Curse Blue, 40%, Devil of Fire Lord, 100%. Demonic Chi. Fire Demonic Chi, Moon Demonic Chi. 12 Charms. Dragon Charm, Edward Kaido, Dog Charm, Edward Newgate. Ghost Mask. Inactive. 8 Demons. Demon of Fire, inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's Hockey, superior, Armament Hockey, superior, Observation Hockey, superior. Good guy. Alan secretly complained. But I really listened to the persuasion and deleted the Ghost General directly, but it took 45 devil fruits, but it was only 40% complete, in other words. At least one template activation is required at least. 100 devil fruit is a huge amount. For this, I really didn't think about it. The activation of the template of the Holy Master is not so troublesome, but after thinking about it a little, it seems to be understandable. The template of the Holy Master itself has huge problems. The Master template activated by oneself should be said to activate the power of the Master itself, and the divine power brought by the 12 spells is actually not fully developed. Alan can be sure that the power of the 12 charms is absolutely no worse than the 8 demonic chi, but the divine power has not been truly developed, so he said. This is the fundamental reason. The thing is, it's too lazy to worry about it. Never mind. It doesn't matter if there are too many entanglements, and I don't care, just wait until I continue to think about the future, and now. It's time to continue your daily training. Once you jump up, the template is like this, and you will not change it if you complain. If this is the case, then it is better to just leave it like this and continue your daily training. Over time, everything will naturally become different. Woo, hoo. Alan spit out a mouthful of turbid air. Although it is said that his physical strength is endless, there is still some consumption in training, but this consumption feels very strange, that is, obviously tired, his body is even I have been improved, but my energy and physical strength are still abundant. I can only say that it makes people feel very strange. Weird, that's it. Of course. No matter what it is, it doesn't matter. Anyway, Alan doesn't care, these are not big things. As long as the strength is getting stronger, it doesn't matter. This is the power of the magic energy of the moon, it feels. It's really interesting to manipulate. 35. Alan rubbed his chin in thought. Kaido came over and asked strangely, Big brother, what are you studying? Alan looked at Kaido, raised his eyebrows and said, Brother, are you interested in giving it a try? I recently researched something new, so I just came to try it out. What's the power like? 39. No problem. Kaido nodded and said casually, Big brother. Of course there is no problem. It is good. The corner of Alan's mouth grinned, his hands clasped together, and in an instant, the dark purple magic power instantly emerged from his body. In an instant, it seemed to run through everything. Kaido was stunned when he saw this scene. It seems that they do not understand what is going on. At this time, the sky suddenly turned dark. Kaido raised his head in astonishment, his eyes narrowed in the next moment, and he said in shock, F***K. Big brother, you are too shameless. Don't you mean to give it a try? How did you start to kill yourself? Ah. A meteorite fell directly, which shocked Kaido too. Dragon breath. Kaido opened his mouth, and the monstrous heat wave directly converged into a terrifying shock wave, which directly penetrated the meteorite, but this is not over yet. Behind this meteorite, there are other meteorites. F***K. Big brother, are you taking your life? Although Kaido was complaining, the shock waves fell madly, and under such a roar, it seemed that everything had changed, in a short period of time. It seemed to destroy everything. Next, the battle between the two brothers is about to begin. The two looked at each other, and a sly smile appeared at the same time, the next moment. At the same time, they shot and went straight to each other. Boom. The deafening roar resounded. Brother. The third child. 35. When Newgate came here, he saw that the clothes on Alan and Kaido were all tattered. Although there was no injury, but looking at the appearance of the two, it must have been a fight for a while. Actually, the two have been fighting for 6 hours, but Alan has been pressing Kaido to fight, but Kaido has absorbed the dragon spell, as if every position has been completely improved. Kaido absorbed the dragon spell, and all the positions on his body were greatly improved, which was the most interesting thing, and Alan did not expect such a situation. Turns out it's not. Although Alan is pressing his own third child to fight, but in the case of not putting his life on the line, although he can suppress the third child, it is not realistic to want to defeat the third child directly. I didn't say it. Is there something wrong with your brain? Newgate can't help but complain. Alan was a little more active, and said casually, I just try to see the strength. The result is good, the third child is a stinky boy, he is ruthless. F*K. Kaido complained. Big brother. You are really shameless when you talk, do you want shame? Are you trying to see your strength? Good guy. Just throw me 2 meteorites at the start, are you going to kill me directly? Isn't that not killing it? I really am. Okay. 35. Okay. 35. Newgate looked at the eldest brother and the third child like this, and shook his head helplessly and said, you two are real. What would happen if the juniors saw this? You two should calm down. Never mind. Alan waved his hand and said casually, I'm too lazy to tell you anything, the third child, you are true. Cut. Kaido also pouted. Next moment. Third, why don't you go for a drink? I think so. Let's go. Alan and Kaido research, the two brothers just went for a drink, and only Newgate, who came to persuade him to fight, stayed where he was. At this moment, Newgate was completely stunned and looked at the old Yamato who left. The third child fell into a state of confusion for a while. F*K. So, why did I come here? Newgate's eyes were all round, and he murmured in disbelief. What are you two doing with Laozi? Ha ha ha. 5.9 Worororo. You two bastards. 35. The brothers were all complaining, and one by one couldn't help laughing. Soon, the brothers all left, and the test was almost the same. Facts have proved that the power of the moon demon is indeed very terrifying. The power of gravitation is an ability that is very suitable for development. As long as it is developed well, it is very amazing. After all, gravity represents not only gravity, but also gravity. 5. Alan, who was drinking, seemed to have thought of something, rubbed his chin, and thought, what if gravity could be manipulated? What would it be like? Alan is interested, after all. Fujitora. Smile's ability manipulates gravity, and what he manipulates is gravity. In theory, gravity and gravity are both controllable by himself. The magic essence of the moon demon that he controls it is the gravitational force of the moon, the gravitational force of the earth, and the universal gravitational force. And these 3 forces can produce gravity. If so. Alan is directly interested, if it can generate gravity. Then, isn't it very interesting? For a while, Alan's smile is starting to grow stronger, which is very interesting. Gravity is actually just one aspect of fighting the enemy. If it can be developed, the improvement in strength will be very amazing. After all, anyone who knows about the gravity chamber should not be very surprised, right? Anyway, Alan understands gravity very well, Alan said secretly. It can be developed well, if it is researched, the future will be better. The strength has improved, but it is very fast. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 152. Whale Island. Moby Dick. Time. It always goes by so quickly, half a month goes by in a blink of an eye. And, today, Uncle, Dad, 3 uncles. 35. With a roar, Bagley was roaring loudly, and the speed of the whole person was so fast that he ran over in almost a short time, and the 3 of them looked at Bagley. He was stunned, as if he didn't understand what was going on. Bagley said excitedly, the pirate ship is finished. It's finished. F*K. Finally it's done. Worororo. The 3 brothers are also very excited. 8 years, this is a total of 8 years, just kidding. The time it took is really long enough, even to say. With the dissolution of Rock's Pirate, a lot has passed. It has been 5 months, and in these 5 months, everyone else has made a name for themselves. Even though, brothers don't really care about it, but, anyway, everything in front of you is still very important. Search. Alan stood up, raised the corners of his mouth, a smile emerged, and said very strongly, okay. In that case, let's go and see, our pirate ship. 35. What? The 3 brothers are all very excited. After waiting for so long, it is finally completed. Seriously, it is impossible for people who are not pirates to imagine how much a pirate ship is to pirates. Important things are absolutely incomprehensible to outsiders. Let's go. 55. The 3 brothers took Bagley to the distance. Not only the 3 of them, but the others were also very curious. Over the years, Newgate, Kaido, the adopted sons of the 2 people added up. Almost the number of people has reached about 2,000 people. And apart from that, Marco, Carmenio, Bullet, Abel, Guion, Tiger, Bagley, Jose, Bista, Jinbei, Bramank, Namur, Aruban, Karma, Tezzolo, Widub, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Squard, Makuge. A total of 21 people, these people are the core personnel of 06 Future, they are the most important fundamental personnel. It can be said, after so many years, the 3 brothers have accumulated a very large foundation, and this foundation only takes a certain amount of time to burst out, and this is the most important thing. Next. Let people take a look, what is the next result? Right now, everyone is very excited. They usually don't have time to pay attention to this pirate ship. Today, they all gathered here, after all. Everyone still attaches great importance to this pirate ship. This is their home. Future home. In other words, for any pirate, this is the most important thing. For the pirates, the pirate ship is the most important. No matter it is any pirate, you form your own pirate group. At that moment, the first goal was to build his own pirate ship. This is the inner thought of almost every pirate. This will not change at all. There is no doubt about this. This is the most important foundation for any pirate and will never change. Absolutely impossible to change at all. Search. An azure light flew directly past, and Marco's speed was extremely fast, although he was still young, but in any case, under Alan's teaching, Marco's aptitude can be said to be vividly displayed. Don't say that you are young. If you train hard, you will leave dark wounds. The horse charm tells you that this is impossible. Joke. Laozi and others can do it, why can't you do it? Even if you are weaker, are you that weak? That's what Alan thinks, and Marco is working hard enough. Although he is only 6 years old, Marco's talent is vividly displayed, especially under the double blessing of the phoenix fruit and the divine power of the horse charm. Now Marco is only 6 years old, but he is placed in the sea. I dare not say that it is alone, but it is not a problem to face most ordinary pirates. Ha ha ha. Marco smiled and said, it's really great. Finally, we can see what the pirate ship looks like. Yes. 359. Yes. And it is Abel who follows Marco. The current Abel is not too old, but Abel is not the indifferent character in the original book. Although he is very calm, he has been with so many people since he was a child. They are very harmonious with each other. Same. Abel's talent is also very amazing, especially the talent of the Lunaria family can be said to be fully displayed in Abel's body, and after being told by Guion. Abel also understands. That's right. He is the Logia demon fruit power. If so, why does Laozi make so many fancy weapons? Laozi is just the magma that erupted, and it collapses to your death. Under such circumstances, Abel began to work hard to develop lava fruit, coupled with his unique racial talent, and Alan's research on the two-color hockey. It was a very good development. Operator. Brahmank said with a smile. Don't worry. This is the pirate ship that my father built, and it's definitely not a problem. My father said, this is the most outstanding one for the uncle, the father, and the third uncle. The pirate ship, no matter what time it is definitely the best pirate ship, and it will be the best pirate ship in the world. The most outstanding pirate ship. Operator. The speed of the two people was extremely fast, and they went straight into the distance in an instant. Bullet rubbed his chin and said, it's the first time I've come to see it. I've been training hard before. I really don't know anything about the pirate ship that I built, Carmenio. Caminio shrugged and said, don't ask me. I'm not particularly clear, I'm also exercising hard, I really don't know about these. The two of them are very calm. They both have a tragic childhood, and they have a firm will, of course. They are firm enough in all aspects. Because of this, they are of course very hardworking. For other things are not interested. Snapped. Others are also walking on the road in 2s and 3s. Although everyone is brothers, many times, some people have a good relationship. For example, the relationship between Joes and Bista is good. Joes pondered. I don't know what happened to the pirate ship, the last time I saw it was 4 years ago. 39. Yes. Bista also agreed. But, no matter what, since it is completed, Brahmanki's father said that this is the most powerful pirate ship in the world, and it is absolutely right. 99. That's right. 99. Ha ha ha. The two looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. Tiger brought Jinbei, Namur, Aluan, Karma and the 5 Murlocs together, and Tiger considered. Jinbei, Namur, Aruan, Karma and so on until the pirates belong to us. The group is established, I should have a few more years and plan to build a pirate group myself. 99. Jinbei was stunned, scratched his head and said, Brother Tiger, is it so fast? That Muir, Ilawang, and Karma couldn't help nodding their heads, but Tiger shook his head and said, this is impossible. The Fishman Island needs shelter, and I need to have a strong strength. If we ask uncle, father, and uncle, they will definitely have no problem, but that is our hometown, and we still have to have the strength to protect it ourselves. This is the last thing we can prepare for our hometown. Quote. Namur, Ilawang and Karma looked at each other, and both of them agreed. Brother Tiger. We also plan to build our own pirate group in the future, not only to help Brother Tiger, but to protect the Fishman Island, too. We want to see this beautiful sea. He. Tiger smiled and nodded. Jinbei, how about you? My word. 35. Jinbei scratched his head and said, Brother Tiger, you also know that my character, I don't like so much grandeur, I will stay by my father's side. 5. Tiger nodded as well, he didn't particularly care about it, and it's not a big deal. For the future, just consider the future. And, no kidding, no one really thinks that it's okay if you want to go out and build your own pirate group. As the adopted sons of our brothers, you ended up going out and being bullied. No problem, I can find a place for you. But I am not joking, If you are bullied one by one, I will finally let Laozi handle the mess for you. Still no strong strength. Isn't that a joke? So, from the very beginning, everything has been set. Want to go out? Of course it is no problem. But, you need to pass the test. If you can't pass the test, it is absolutely not allowed. Dad, be careful. Tezzolo looked at his parents and shook his head helplessly. After all, they were already old, and the Neil and his wife were very old. Neil smiled and said, Tezzolo, don't worry, this old man will be fine. What's more, this old man is here to take a look, although he said, all the future will be handed over to you, but Brother Alan said, if possible, I hope that this old man can also retire on this pirate ship, old man. As the only person who witnessed the establishment of the pirate ship with his own eyes, Neil knew that this pirate ship could really be used for old age. Neil never wanted to do this, just. The Neil couple looked at their son, I still want to be with my son. To this, Alan is of course every opinion, in Alan's words. No kidding, Laozi will never let Laozi's own people die, as long as you follow Laozi, then remember. If there is a problem, Laozi will only die in front of you, but never die behind you. Neil is absolutely full of faith in the three big brothers. This is absolutely beyond doubt. Therefore, apart from that, everything else doesn't need to be said at all. Does this kind of attitude not exist? Impossible. Alan's attitude has always been so obvious, this is Laozi's attitude. On the other side, Whitebeard also said seriously, Squard, Makugai, Epoida, Andre, Doma, what do the five of you think? Do you have any ideas? Squard said seriously, I will hone myself well. Then, I will build a pirate team again, and I will make a name for myself. I must not embarrass my uncle, father, and third uncle. Quote. That's right. 95. The other four also agree very much. They all want to form their own pirate group, and they have their own ambitions. They don't want to be the pirate king, or any ambition to conquer the world, they just want to prove it. As Edward, the adopted sons of the three brothers will never embarrass their parents. They have the qualifications to allow everyone to admit that they are absolutely not embarrassed. Whitebeard agreed. I also have this idea. However, I heard that Big Brother Bagley and Big Brother Tiger don't seem to have this confidence, but the two big brothers said that there is no such thing as 3 or 5 years. It is basically impossible to pass the test. What? The 5 people are all dumbfounded. Just kidding, they think the strength of the 2 big brothers is simply monster level. As a result, the 5 big brothers actually said that they are not qualified to independently build their own 907 pirate group. This is not a joke, right? Whitebeard shook his head and said, I heard Guillaume's words, the uncle's meaning is very obvious, you can go out, but if the strength is not enough, it would be too embarrassing, the uncle said, but I don't want to give this group of young people. Collect the corpse. 66.99. Although the uncle's words make people feel very unpleasant, but everyone's heart is very serious, they know that the uncle doesn't want them to die like this. Ha ha ha, still keep trying. Yes, everyone was smiling. They walked towards the position of the pirate ship in 2s and 3s, and everyone's eyes were very firm and very solemn, they would never have any slack. Just kidding, if it would be too embarrassing to relax here, they have to work harder to become stronger. Only in this way is the most important. Everyone will work harder. At the same time, Alan, Newgate, Kaido and Bagley are also heading towards the pirate ship, and in the distance, the super huge red curtain is blocking the terrifying huge ship, just look at it and feel it, darling. Is this really too big? It's finally finished. Yes, awesome. The 3 brothers are all very excited. For them, after so many years, they finally got their own pirate ship. This is the pirate ship they are looking forward to the most. It took so many years, really is unusually excited. 3 gentlemen. Seeing the arrival of the 3 Edward brothers, the boatman also walked over quickly and said with a smile, 3 gentlemen. Everything is ready. You can rest assured. Alan nodded with a smile and looked at the boatman, but he had to admit it. It was another 4 years, and the boatman had really had his last breath left. His face was extremely pale, and he had completely reached his limit. Maybe. For him, the moment when the pirate ship he created set sail. So, everything is completely over. For the boatman, his last wish is that it has been completed, and the rest is something that really doesn't matter at all. Alan nodded. Of course I believe you. For a man like you, this boat is your last sign of life. 1. The boatman looked at Alan. He knew, Mr. Alan saw it, or rather. Mr. Alan knew very well that his life had really reached its limit, and everything had reached its limit. Alas. 35. Sighing silently, the boatman shook his head and said, Mr. Alan, thank you for your trust. Come and see, this is the pirate ship I built for the 3 of you. The pirate ship called Moby Dick. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 153. Whitebeard Pirates. Young fan, set sail. Brush. The red curtain fell, and at this moment, everyone's eyes widened. 6,635. Everyone headed by Marco widened their eyes in disbelief. Everyone was filled with endless disbelief. It was too huge. It was too gorgeous. This is really a pirate boat. Right now, standing in front of everyone is like a huge island. Standing in front of everyone like this, that feeling is like facing this huge beast. There is a kind of whale called the island whale on this sea, and the size of this whale is like an island, and the island in front of you is bigger than the island whale, at least. From the outside, the size of the island is absolutely no problem to accommodate 300,000 to 500,000 people. That's right. This can no longer be called a pirate ship, but should be called a sea island, a sea city. It is more appropriate to describe it. It is too huge, and it is too gorgeous. Oh my god. Be good. This is really too big, isn't it? Yup. Everyone is full of disbelief looks. It is too huge, it is too gorgeous, people can't help but smack. The appearance of the whole body, just like the appearance of a whale, has an azure appearance, not only that. The overall size is wrong. It should be said differently. From the front, it looks like a real whale. Actually, this is really like a whale, and with the roar of the boatman, the giant mouth of the whale in front of him slowly opened. Wow, wow. As the giant mouth slowly opened, everyone saw what the interior looked like. After all, it was in the sky, and the whole thing could be seen, but everyone was even more shocked. Alan said carelessly, "Let's go, stinky bastards. One by one talking so much nonsense here." Ha ha ha. Everyone smiled and scratched their heads, followed their elders and entered the pirate ship obediently, very soon. This huge pirate ship was branded in front of everyone's eyes. It was too huge, the same. It is too gorgeous. Moby Dick. This is the name of this pirate ship, which represents the name of the whale, and the length, width and height. This is indescribable. It is absolutely huge enough. From the overall appearance, it is actually found that this is a ship double-decker boat. There is a circle on the periphery that looks like a whale, looks like a city wall, and is imprinted in front of everyone like a whale. Not only that. This is connected to the real body of the inner circle. At the bottom, there are a large number of places for ships to dock, and at the same time, there are 10 extremely large elevators for lifting and lowering. As for the top, wow, 35, F*K, be good. Everyone was full of disbelief, and one by one really widened their eyes. They really couldn't believe it at all. What is this? Is this a pirate ship? Simply, am I? This is a completely luxurious city, isn't it? Yes, it's really like a city here. And the division is very clear. The rear is the residential area, and the front is the huge square, and there are training grounds, aquariums, playgrounds, and everything else. All in all, this is a real island. It simply depends on it doesn't look like a pirate ship. There are rooms for everyone in the residential area, and the rooms are divided into many. The best thing is that the 3 buildings in the center are like luxurious castles. They belong to 3 people, and the others are villas. Basically, they are all 3-story villas, and the worst is a 5-story high-rise building. There is absolutely no doubt that it is. Snapped. Snapped. Everyone walking on the road, listening to the boatman's introduction, it was a shock. I couldn't help but let out a loud exclamation. The size of this island, for a powerful person, of course, it is not enough to cross. What is it, and is not a powerful person for strength? The boatmaker is also ready. The entire pirate ship is equipped with a kind of equipment similar to a small car. This equipment can travel, basically. In a very short time, it can directly traverse the entire pirate ship. Under the boatman's explanation, everyone couldn't help smacking their tongues. The preparations are too full, really. Now this pirate ship is not short of anything except the lack of personnel. Soon, everyone stopped at the bow of the boat, and the boatman continued. The whole of the Moby Dick is manufactured in a special way. It can be said that the Moby Dick needs energy, but, this question, Alan sir, you have already dealt with it. Alan nodded. Doesn't he just need energy? As long as it is natural energy. Then there is no problem. Alan directly infuses it with a lot of energy. Experienced, very simple. Roughly speaking, once instilled, the stored energy can sail for more than a year, and it is a sailing in the middle of a battle. If you don't fight, you can sail for more than 5 years. It can be seen from this that the various parts of the Moby Dick can be seen, stronger in terms of. Besides, the boatmaker continued, the Moby Dick still has many functions. Hidden weapons around the hull. There are also switches between submarines and pirate ships, and. Under the boatman's explanation, everyone was really exclaiming, darling. In addition to not being able to fly, this boat basically includes all the functions. It can be said that it includes all functions, precisely because in this way, everything at this moment is displayed in front of you, and this is the most exciting thing. This ship is really too handsome, really shocking, and even more exciting. He. Newgate couldn't help but nodded with a smile. It was too satisfying. What is this? This is home. Isn't this home? For Newgate, what he is looking for when he goes out to sea is family, and now the family and family have it. And the next step is to follow the big brother to complete all the ambitions. Alan nodded and said, little brats. Get ready for Laozi, pack everything up, and in 5 days, we're sailing. Oh hoo. In response to Alan, There were roars and roars, and the little guys immediately started to get busy. Alan took the Newgate and Kaido brothers to the core control room at the back. The boatman continued to introduce along the way, and said at the same time, 3 gentlemen, Moby Dick. The overall appearance is made of iron trees. Not only is it very light, but it is absolutely terrifying in terms of sturdiness. And, in it we incorporate special materials. 99. The boatman thought for a while. According to the test, Mr. Newgate, your attack, it is absolutely difficult to directly break the defense of the Moby Dick. The 3 brothers agree with this, after all. The original test was also tested by everyone. Next, in the control room, the 3 brothers don't need to know too much. Brahmank already knows about it, but besides that, the most important thing is the functions of the most important control rooms. Soon, after understanding everything was settled, and everyone was very calm, and after the boatman had taught everything, he quietly waited for the sailing. 5 days. But it is fleeting. In a short period of time, everything is ready, everyone is ready for everything, and everyone is smiling. Dad. Brahmank looked at the boatman, but couldn't help lowering his head. Hee. The boatman smiled and shook his head, and said gently, Brahmank, you have grown up. This ship has fulfilled all my dreams. This ship, the future will be handed over to you. As a ship craftsman, you must take good care of this ship, Moby Dick. It really is like a whale, it can devour everything. Brahmank nodded seriously, and he said firmly, Dad, I will never let you down, I will show the whole world. The power of the Moby Dick. 35. Go. It's sailing. The boatman smiled and shook his head. He did not board the boat. The others were considered to be under the command of the Edward brothers. As logistics staff, they had many identities such as boatmen, craftsmen, cooks, doctors, etc. Their number was close to 30,000 people. These people have no fighting power, even to say. They all brought their families to the Moby Dick. Alan has nothing to say about it. The Moby Dick is a huge island, it's home to everyone, and they're part of it when they join the Moby Dick. Including family members, the number is about 50,000. It can be said that these are just logistics personnel, or there are other family members. Alan really doesn't care. Anyway, his family is rich, he doesn't care about these. And, besides, I'm a pirate. If you run out of money, wouldn't it be over to rob? Is this still a big problem? Joke. It's just like making a joke. As for the other issues, that's not to mention. It can be said that all of this is in front of you. This is the confidence and courage of the Moby Dick, and other than that besides. There are still many questions about everything, that is, the next personnel replenishment problem. In front of such a huge pirate ship, the Moby Dick, there are only 2,000 people, isn't it not enough to see? To know. According to the boatman's advice, the Moby Dick can accommodate a population of 600,000 people, which is a very relaxed population, if it is extremely crowded. It can accommodate millions of people, but, for this, Alan but very calm. There is no need to accommodate so many people. It is not bad to have a population of 600,000. Among them, it would be very good to have 200,000 combatants. This is the root cause of a force. The personnel aspect is absolutely very important. Yes, logistically, there is no doubt about it. Any time, no matter what force it is. If the logistics are unqualified, it will be very embarrassing, such as ship doctors, such as craftsmen, such as boatmen, such as cooks, such as sailors, such as etc. All in all, above this sea, the logistics personnel are absolutely sufficient, and for many pirates, the logistics personnel basically have no combat effectiveness, but obviously, the situation of the 3 Edward brothers is not special. Rich, capricious. Anyway, I have money, I don't care about such things, it doesn't matter. These are all small problems. You don't think I care about these things, do you? Impossible. I don't care at all. These things are small problems, and they can be dealt with casually. It's really not a big problem. At least, certainly not a big deal for Alan. Boys. Yong Fan. Sail. 35. Oh who. 35. Following Alan's order, this huge pirate ship set sail at the same time. Although the huge pirate ship is not in the sea, it is gradually moving towards the distance under the divine power of Alan's chicken charm. Slowly, it went to the distance, and the speed was very fast. Short time. The Moby Dick has gradually disappeared. And, it is worth mentioning that the pirates formed by the 3 Edward brothers were finally under the names of the Blue Dragon Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates. The Whitebeard Pirates were finally chosen. As for the reason, it's actually very simple. Newgate defeated Kaido, of course. Then the name is the Whitebeard Pirates. As for the Devil Pirates, or the Edward Pirates, the 3 brothers don't particularly care. In other words, Alan didn't really care, and Alan didn't care about the name at all. This is not. At this moment, the 3 brothers were sitting together, looking in front of them and saying, then. The next step is to say yes, cast lots. Whoever catches is the captain, whoever is the vice captain, and the other who is not caught is the most random people. No problem. It is good. There is no problem with the 3 brothers, that's right. In the end, the 3 brothers chose to be the captain, vice captain and boss. These 3 positions were finally chosen to prove by casting lots. The end result is, Edward Newgate is the captain. Edward Kaido is the co-captain. And, Alan is the boss of the entire Whitebeard Pirates. Although, Nuo's Zhao said that he is not the captain, he has the highest status. In fact, there is no doubt about this, after all. For the entire Whitebeard Pirates, Alan is a well-deserved owner of the highest status, which is also a matter of course. Woo. With a puff of smoke, Alan said carelessly, "Didn't I tell you everything? You 2 stinky brats. The winner this time is definitely Laozi." Cut. Humph. 35. Newgate and Kaido are both very unhappy, both of them want to be in this position. To put it bluntly, they don't have to worry about anything, and then they are still similar to the captain. They are the captain and co-captain, but they need to manage everything. At first, the proposal was solved through strength, but it was silently rejected in the end. Just kidding, eldest brother is the strongest, who can solve it with your strength. In the end, humph. This is how this matter was settled, of course. This is just an external name, other than that, everything else is actually meaningless, and you don't need to pay too much attention to it. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Alan sat on his own chair in the conference room and said with a big smile, "It's really good to live like this." That's right. That's right. Just right. Since everyone is here, let's continue the discussion. Other questions are fine. Everyone was very at a loss, and everyone didn't know what was going on. What? The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and a hideous smile emerged. Alan continued. After all, the Whitebeard Pirates have been established, and we also have to discuss the next plan and what is the next goal? At this moment, with Alan's departure, the temporarily established Sky Island has been dismantled. The boatman looked at everything in front of him, and a smile appeared, and he lost consciousness. Chapter 154. Headquarters Team. Affiliated Captain. Big Brother. How? Newgate also sat down and asked curiously. At this time, boom. As the monstrous waves were lifted, and the Moby Dick had already entered the sea, as the waves rolled, it gradually stabilized. In an instant, this huge pirate ship was located between the inner layer and the outer layer, is instilled with a large amount of seawater. These seawater probably touched 1/6 of the position, and then stopped, after all. This position is mainly used to station other pirate ships. If there is no seawater, the feeling is the strangest thing, that's it. Soon, everything is stabilized. Alan crossed his legs, sat in his seat, and said casually, "Little brats. Come on, tell me all about your thoughts." 55. What? Everyone was immediately stunned, and they were all very dazed. What are you thinking? Everyone was very dazed, even stunned. It was too different, and it was really dazed. Well, Alan waved his hand and explained. The specific situation, I will tell you about it. The Whitebeard Pirates are divided into 2 parts. One is the members of the squad, that is, the members of the Whitebeard Pirates headquarters. Part of this is the affiliated pirate group, and those of you who want to form your own pirate group in the future stand up. 66.99. Hearing Alan's words, everyone was stunned, and then nodded. Uncle. 35. Bagley and Tiger immediately stood up, and the 2 of them looked very serious. Bagley said earnestly, "Uncle, I want to go out and have a go." Tiger also nodded and said, "Uncle, I have the same idea, I also want to go out and make a fortune." And the 2 looked at each other and said at the same time, "We have our own ambitions. We don't want to end up." Okay, Alan interrupted directly. "I am very clear about your 2 little brats, you don't need to talk so much nonsense with me, I am not interested, you don't need nonsense, you 2 go. Your ambition, then just work hard. Laozi is currently researching a new method to improve your strength. If you succeed, your strength can be improved faster." "Thank you, uncle." The 2 of them listened to the uncle's impatient words, but they knew that this was the uncle's concern for themselves and others. Many times, the uncle was like this. Although it seemed that he didn't care at all. 910. In fact, he was very concerned. This is the character of the uncle, it has always been like this, it is really such a character. The uncle doesn't seem to care at all, but he actually cares very much. Woo. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan looked at the others and continued, "Okay. It's just you little brats, talk about it. What are your thoughts? Say your thoughts. This man Laozi, I don't like crap." Of course Alan knows. A lot of people have the idea of starting their own business. Again, they don't mean that they want to leave the Whitebeard Pirates, but they want to let their elders see that they have grown up very well. This is the idea of their group of little devils. Get used to it. Alan is also very calm. "Uncle, and I. Me too." 35. Yes. Soon, under Alan's gaze, the little devils stood up one by one. That's true for Namur, Aruban, and Karma, and other than that, Tezzolo, Whitebeard, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Squard, Makugai. These little devils are like that. What? Neil watched his son stand up, but stood up instantly, his whole person was full of anger, in Neil's opinion. His life is still his wife, and everything about his son is the three big brothers. Yes, now my son is actually. Quote. I.35. Tezzolo looked at Neil and lowered his head in embarrassment. He didn't know what to say, but Alan raised his hand to stop him. Neil, calm me down. Tezzolo has his own ideas. This is not what a bad thing. This is a good thing, okay. 35. Humph. Hearing what his big brother said, Neil nodded helplessly and sat down after watching Tezzolo snort coldly. And Tezzolo said seriously, Uncle, I know, Dad is for my good. However, I want to go out and make a move. I want to prove to the world that I am definitely not a weak person. I want to be the richest man in the world can support the entire Whitebeard Pirates. 5. Such an idea. Alan looked at Tezzolo, although he said that the plot had changed drastically from the original, but the result. Tezzolo still has such ambitions, which is not bad. Alan pondered. It's not a problem, it's a problem, but. Since I want to AGFJ, I should study and study, normally. If you want to grow to such a level, you can't just have the ability. If you want to be the richest man, Jaws is shining fruit. Useless. 35. Alan shook his head and said, although diamonds are very precious, but. As long as you are not idiots, you can't buy them. This thing has little meaning, and more is gold. Wait, you will find the golden fruit, this devil fruit is the most suitable for you, but. I still say that, show your strength, otherwise. I will not let you go. Thank you, uncle. Tezzolo simply bowed, full of excitement. He thought that the uncle would be serious about scolding him. He didn't expect it, but he didn't care at all, and he didn't mean anything else at all. Alan waved his hand and said, it's not a big deal, it's a good thing for a child to have ambition, anyway, work hard. If you can reach that level, it's just right. I don't need researchers to rob someone today and who to rob tomorrow. This way, everyone can grow up in a stable manner. Ha ha ha. Goo la la la. Worororo. Ha ha ha. 9. Everyone listened to Alan's ridicule and couldn't help laughing, while Tezzolo scratched his head. Neil shook his head, very helpless, but. He is really very grateful to Big Brother. No matter what at times, eldest brother is like this, and he doesn't care about it at all. For anyone, a person like eldest brother will always be the best and the most outstanding. Alan continued. Except Tezzolo, other little devils. Muir, Aruban, Karma, do you three have any ideas about devil fruit? This. The three looked at each other and finally shook their heads and said, Uncle. We don't have any ideas. We are Murlocs, although we say, eating devil fruit can enhance our strength, but. We studied it and found that, the strength improvement brought by this does not seem to be the increase in X from our practice of Murloc Karate and Murloc Jiu-Jitsu. Indeed. Alan nodded in agreement and said, the most important thing for the Murlocs is their ability to fight in the sea. If this is all abandoned, then it is really meaningless. Row, you three little devils, from tomorrow onwards, follow Tiger to give Laozi a good training, one by one. You are so slack and still thinking about going out and building your own pirate group. Are you thinking of shit? Ah, the three little devils scratched their heads in embarrassment. Alan turned his attention to the rest of the people, Widub, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Squard, Makugai, all 6 of them straightened their backs involuntarily. Joining the Whitebeard Pirates is not a long time. Even say, the time to join is very short, and now they are like I want to establish a pirate group myself, if it is placed on others, it is estimated that they will be furious. But, Alan thought about it. You little brats don't need to be nervous, I believe in you. However, I am just thinking about whether you brats have any suitable devil fruit, after all. You also know that your qualifications are actually it's almost like that. Alan said without the slightest hesitation. According to your qualifications, even if it is Laozi's training, your future will be at the level of Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral at most, which is worse than Marco, Abel, Carmenio, and these brats. A lot of. 66.99. Listening to Alan's words without any hesitation, they all fell into silence. They were not envious or hated. They just thought it was a bit outrageous. What the hell is this? This is the level of the dignified Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. When did this level become irrelevant? This moment. They were all in a daze, while Alan rubbed his chin and said, if you can eat a suitable devil fruit, you may be able to break the limit with the development of devil fruit. Never mind. Alan shook his head and said, your devil fruit, I will find you slowly, until then. You little brats, use swordsmanship to train Laozi. Those who are good at physique should train Laozi. No, physical skills and hockey are all standard, they are all for Laozi to be more serious, even if they have no strength, will they wait to die in the future? Uncle. Thank you. The 6 people bowed and bowed respectfully. They were all children. At this moment, the tears from the corners of his eyes were really dripping uncontrollably. Although Alan's words were unpleasant, the concern between those words was not enough. It's genuine concern, nothing else at all. Cut. Just a bunch of crybabies. Never mind. I'm too lazy to leave you, I'll just roll and sit on the side. Bramank. Uncle. 39. Bramank immediately ran out of the crowd, tilted his head. Alan said, Go and arrange people, let Laozi handle it, arrange the actions in the conference hall, and everyone's names are arranged. Quote. Okay, Uncle. 95. Bramank nodded immediately, while Alan turned his attention to the others, and continued, speaking now. The problems of these brats are solved, and you are the next. It's easy to talk about these little devils. In the future, as for the rest of you little devils. Alan looked at the rest. Marco, Jose, Bista, Jinbei, Bramank, Carmenio, Bullet, Abel, Guillaume, a total of 9 people, of which Marco, Carmenio, Bullet, Abel, Guillaume. This there is absolutely no doubt about the qualifications of the 5 people. As for Jose, Bista, Jinbei, the qualifications of the 3 people are definitely more than the Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. If it is placed in the future, it is above the Vice Admiral. If the Admiral is not full, it should probably be called the Vice Admiral. That's almost what it's called. As for the final Bramank, it is a little weaker, but it is not a problem as a Vice Admiral of the headquarters. Alan pondered and leaned on the sofa, but said casually, second, third, when we were discussing at the time, we said how many teams are in the headquarters. Newgate was stunned for a moment, and thought, Big Brother. The saying at that time was that there were 24 teams in the headquarters. If it was not enough, we would continue to increase it. In terms of the total number of people, the maximum number is 30, and the maximum number of the headquarters team is 30. Alan nodded and said, that's right. Little devils, there are up to 30 teams in the headquarters, now. Let me talk about it first. First, 35. Marco is the captain of the 24th Division. 35. What? Marco was taken aback, scratched his head and said, Uncle, what does this mean? Alan continued. Among the 24 teams that have been determined now, there is no distinction of status, only the difference of responsibilities, and Marco, your Phoenix fruit is more suitable as a ship doctor, and after my consideration, the auxiliary staff still slightly behind. Okay. Marco nodded immediately, but everyone didn't have any opinion, everyone nodded, yes. This situation is also very suitable. After all, this is an affiliated team, of course. Marco's qualifications are also placed there, although it is said that he is a ship doctor, but the problem is not big. As for Bramank, you are the captain of the 23rd Division, that is, the captain of the Boatsmith Division. 99. No problem. 99. Uncle. 35. Bramank nodded immediately, and Alan looked at the others and said, as for you little brats, we will divide them later, and that's the way they are now. Probably, the Whitebeard Pirates are basically divided like this. Does anyone have any comments? Can say it. Don't worry too much, you are all members of the Whitebeard Pirates, worrying so much is meaningless. Alan said it very casually, and everyone looked at me and I looked at you, but they thought that everything was fine. Neil was thinking. Brother. In fact, everything else is easy to say, mainly. The Moby Dick's defense problem, the Moby Dick is really too large. If other people sneak in, it is a troublesome thing. 35. Everyone agreed with Uncle Neil's statement. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, Neil, you can rest assured, such a problem is nothing to the eldest brother has already prepared all this. 35. Neil nodded when he heard this, no problem is the best. Alan said casually, with my ability, this is a small problem, don't worry. Other than that, there shouldn't be any other problems. Neil thought for a moment, then nodded and said, Big Brother. Looking at it now, there are basically no problems, so to speak. Everything is handled very well. 35. Good. 35. Alan nodded and said, that's enough, as long as there's no problem, little brats. Be serious with Laozi. Whether you want to build a pirate group or as a squad leader, if you're not serious enough. Unqualified. 5. Ha ha ha. Listening to Alan's laughter, everyone was roaring with excitement, and one by one was roaring with excitement. Joke. They are full of firm hearts, but they will not relax their vigilance here. This is absolutely not to relax, they have to work harder to become stronger, and only in this way are the most qualified. Alan nodded, thought for a while, and then said excitedly, little brats. It's all for Laozi to get serious and have a banquet. Oh who. 99. The roar resounded. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 155. The goal. Get a Dark Emperor to practice your hands. Day 2. 35. After waking up in the room, Alan looked around, rubbed his brows slightly, and murmured, I drank too much again last night. These stinky bastards can really drink. Really. Age not big, but quite drinkable. Shake your head. Alan stood up and walked out staggeringly. In addition to himself, the entire castle had a large number of little maids. These little maids were very well behaved, and they had prepared everything for Alan. As for other reasons, so there's so much bullshit, isn't it a matter of course in Alan's position? Indeed. According to Alan's status, this is indeed a matter of course. After walking out of the castle, Alan looked at Guillaume who was sitting in the little garden, and raised his head casually. Little rabbit, are you awake? Guillaume raised his head, put down the book in his hand, and said with a smile, Father. You have slept for a long time, and you have already sobered up. 39. Alan nodded too. Guillaume used to call himself Dad, but, as he grew older, Guillaume also felt embarrassed, and the name was changed to Dad, and he didn't care anyway. Let's go. There are still some things that need to be dealt with. Okay. 39. Following Alan out of the castle, the two walked towards the conference room, and soon, they entered the conference room. Right now, there was no one in the conference room. Alan said, Go and inform, and let everyone who wakes up come here to discuss something. 99. Yes. 35. Someone was notified immediately. Soon. As they walked in twos and threes, one by one walked into the conference room, all sat down in their own seats, one by one was very calm, everyone was thinking about something, in twos and threes is being discussed. Sighing lazily, Alan said casually, Second, third, you two guys are really slow to die. 5. Big brother, you woke up, but you drank too much yesterday. Newgate is an unbearable complainer. Yesterday, the group of little devils toasted themselves one by one, and almost didn't give away the old man. And Kaido also shrugged. Don't mention it. I really drank too much, and now I have a headache. Okay, sit down. They all sat down one by one, very quickly. In about 20 minutes, everyone was already seated, and one by one, they all sat down and waited for the next notice. Alan rubbed his chin, swept over everyone one by one, everyone was here, nodded and said, Little brats. It seems that they are all in a bad state of mind. What, uncle? I really drank too much. Headache. It's so frustrating. What? One by one, they were also complaining. They really drank too much, and they actually drank too much. Looking at these little devils, Alan also chuckled and shook his head, without saying anything, and then said, Okay. The specific nonsense is not to say, quickly discuss it, and then go back to rest. It is good. Everyone nodded. Alan leaned directly on the sofa, and said calmly, Little brats, think about it, next is the first war that our Whitebeard Pirates set up, who is it better to fight? Who is better to shoot at? 35. Everyone is starting to think about this question, it is indeed. Whitebeard was established. As the Edward brothers pirate group, their status is of course unquestionable, and there is no need to doubt the position they should have. If this is the case, then where is the most suitable one? Everyone is thinking about this issue carefully, after all. Not joking, the next thing that needs to be discussed is the most fundamental reason. The Whitebeard Pirates have been established, so there is absolutely no doubt in terms of strength and status, and everyone else has already begun to become famous in the world, so he must show enough strength. Otherwise, it is a very shameful thing. As for why do you have to find a target to act on? This is actually similar to what Rock's Pirate did when it was first established, telling the world that Laozi has been established, and now Laozi's strength will make all of you feel intimidated. Basically this is the case, other than that. There is nothing else, just tell the whole world how powerful Laozi is. To put it bluntly, just let me know that Laozi's Whitebeard Pirates have been established, from now on, I will be honest with the old man. Everyone was thinking, and Marco thought about it. Uncle, are we going to take action against other pirates? Other pirates. 35. Sitting on the chair with his legs crossed, Whitebeard thought. Air Pirates, Roger Pirates, Burndy Pirates, Five Peaks Pirates, Silver Axe Pirates, John Pirates, Chef C the Pirate Group, the 8 Treasures Marine Corps, the Big Mom Pirate Group. The most powerful is that these 9 pirate groups are the most powerful on the sea now. Other than that, the other pirate groups are not worth one at all. Things to mention. In this case, Bagley thought about it. We have a conflict with the Silver Axe Pirates, but we can include the Silver Axe Pirates. No. We directly kill the entire Silver Axe Pirates. Caminio squatted on the chair and said casually, I think it's okay. Operator. Caminio gave off a strange smile, as if he was a lizard, giving the impression that he was really obedient. But, it doesn't matter. Everyone is discussing in twos and threes. Basically, they are very clear about these considerations, without any concerns. Everyone is discussing it very freely. Any force can attack. Their strength is not that strong. But still, in front of the Whitebeard Pirates, the 3 Edward brothers are enough, the 3 brothers are too strong, just the 3 brothers are already real monsters of monsters. Joke. Alan's strength is here, there is no doubt about it. These are the 3 Edward brothers. Do you think it's a joke with such powerful strength? It's just like a joke. Facing the 3 Edward brothers, if the strength is not enough, it is the strangest thing. The 3 Edward brothers are not strong enough. Are you telling a joke? After thinking about it, Abel said, Uncle, according to your thoughts, what you want to do is to surpass Rock's Pirate, right? 35. Listening to the discussion of these brats, Alan was very casual. Although he said he didn't have any clear goals, he had a general idea, and more wanted to see what these brats thought. After all, in the future, these little ghosts will either be the captain of the squad or the captain of the pirate ship, and they must have all aspects of the pirate ship, otherwise. How embarrassing is that? Listening to Abel's question, Alan nodded and said, that's right. I want to become the strongest person in the world, and I want to build the strongest pirate team in the world. I want to let the Whitebeard Pirates rule the sea. Up. 99. Snapped. Putting his hands together and clenching his fists, Alan's eyes glowed with purple and red light, and the terrifying conqueror's hockey was looming. The world. Isn't it a matter of course to be at the top of this world? At least, to be one of the tops of this world, isn't that what it should be? Wrong. What I have to do is to become the only apex, to be the apex of everything in this world, and let the Whitebeard Pirates do the same. In the whole world, everyone is full of fear, even more full of fear, and can only obediently lower head. This is what you think. You don't need to rule the world by yourself, but in this world, you have to look at your own face and form. This is what you think. Alan is full of proud gestures. Humph. Alan said arrogantly. As for Laozi, in this world, Laozi has never been slack. Laozi wants to be the pinnacle of this world. Snapped. With one hand clenching a fist, that hockey-full gesture made everyone fall into silence, but after the silence, a different look appeared in everyone's eyes. If theirs is the family's affection, now there is another one. They saw the possibility that the follower's own uncle really reached the top. That is really full of such possibilities. They have no ambitions of their own, and they don't want to do such a scene by themselves. But, if they can, they are willing to follow the uncle to the top. In fact, this is not a strange thing. For this sea, an era has appeared. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, Shiki, Baloric, Roger. The era of these monster-like trendsetters is really too few. Basically it does not exist, after all. These crazy monsters, one by one, gathered in the same era, it is too rare. Just like in the era after Alan, in the next era, although Doflamingo and others are also good, the overall aspect is much worse, and they are just 7 warlords of the sea. And in the end, this is the era of extreme evil, represented by Luffy. There are so many supernovae, each of which grows at the speed of monsters. It is another era of monsters. So, this is an era of monsters, and Alan wants to be the most terrifying monster, in that case. Then the strength that he should have must be taken out, otherwise, it is a very shameful thing. 0. Katakana middle dot seeking flowers katakana middle dot. In that case, Abel thought about it and said, Uncle, I think it is more suitable for us to take action against superpowers or dark emperors. Superpower. The Emperor of Darkness. F*K. Everyone was stunned. They really didn't expect Abel to say such a thing. This is like a joke. Just kidding, is that a superpower and an Emperor of Darkness? Don't see that many pirates are very arrogant, but compared with such forces, it is really nothing. When the 3 Edward brothers attacked the Atom Kingdom, they called it an attack. In fact, they were looking for trouble on the periphery. And the Kingdom of Atom is rather special, otherwise, it would not end the transaction obediently. He. Alan raised the corners of his mouth interestingly, and said with a funny smile, it's interesting. If that's the case, I think it's quite interesting. Abel, let's see what you think. What is the most suitable operation for us? What? 35. Search. Licking the corners of his mouth slightly, Alan's eyes were filled with murderous intent. 66.99. Looking at the appearance of their uncle, everyone knows that the uncle has begun to get excited, and all of a sudden, everyone is starting to get excited and excited, joking. If that's the case, then it's very interesting. For these little devils, they have followed Alan since they were young. They are all crazy guys. They don't care at all, but they are full of excitement. 0.66. To the power of 99. Only Neil shook his head with a wry smile. Sure enough. No matter what time it is, the follower eldest brother is so exciting. The eldest brother is really not merciful, and he will not have any retreat. But Neil also had a smile on his face. Although he said that he was very old, his blood was still beating. That kind of joy was beyond doubt. Woo. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan continued. Abel, go on. 99. Abel said. Uncle, in terms of superpowers, South Blue's Iron Empire, West Blue's Flower Country, Grand Line's Alabasta, and New World's Atom Kingdom. If it's in terms of distance, it's the most suitable for Atom Kingdom, yes. There are also Elbaf Giant Kingdom and Wano-Kuni, but the Elbaf Giant Country is just forget it. Besides, Wano-Kuni. Alan pondered. Wano-Kuni's situation is special. Laozi has other ideas, and then he will shoot Wano-Kuni. Yes. Abel nodded and continued. And the country of flowers, the Empire of Steel, and Alabasta as a whole, these countries are not suitable. In this case, compared to the superpower, Uncle, I think the Emperor of Darkness is more suitable. 99. Superpowers are generally affiliated countries of the world government. Whether Marine is willing or unwilling, he must join it. The Dark Emperors are different. After all, they are just the emperors of the Dark World, even if they control the alliance. China, but the world government cannot help it in an open and above-board manner. Alan nodded to that. Whitebeard continued. In this case, the 5 mafia families in West Blue are not suitable. The Flower Country and the 5 mafia families are also in the mafia, no accident. Although it is said that wars are fought all year round, it is absolutely there is a relationship, and the entry of outsiders like us will definitely cause huge problems. 99. At last, Guillaume continued. And the Vinsmoke family in North Blue is also inappropriate. The Vinsmoke family is hidden too deep. Except for Germa 66, almost nothing else will be exposed, while the entire North Blue is almost all over their power, that's it. The most suitable one is the Sombra of the Grand Line. Whitebeard agreed. Yes, the island of the Sombra organization is located in the Grand Line, which is very easy to find. Moreover, as a killer organization, there are many people who have offended, and no one will help. The Dark Shadow organization. Humph. The corner of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said savagely, if that's the case, then let's use this shadow organization. I want to let the whole world know the power of our Whitebeard Pirates. Boys, all ready for Laozi. Prepare to attack the Dark Emperor and the Sombra organization. Yes, Uncle. 35. As Alan stood up, everyone also stood up, all eyes flashing with excitement. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 156. Whales descending from the sky. Daxi and Kamui's little devils. Shadow Island. This is the base camp of the Sombra organization, one of the 3 major Dark Emperors in the underground world. As an assassination organization, the Sombra organization can be said to receive business from all over the world, and because of its size, even Marine is too large. You can't do it casually. After all, under the huge scale of the Sombra organization, it controls several, or even 10, allied countries. If Marine dares to take action against it, the next moment will be a complaint. As the base camp of the Sombra organization, the strength of Sombra Island is naturally unquestionable. This entire island is a pitch-black island, and because of this island is called Sombra Island, but no matter what. How? One thing is for sure. There is absolutely no doubt about the strength of the Sombra organization. So far, in the past 300 to 500 years, no one has challenged Sombra Island. After all, faced with such a behemoth, no one would want to challenge, the price to be paid may be death. Hateful. Damn. 39. Damn bastards. Just wait for me, as long as Black Shadow Island takes my money, you are absolutely dead. There was a terrifying light in his eyes, and this man was full of unparalleled killing intent. He was really terrifying, and he was full of terrifying hideousness. He was really annoyed. Anger is burning in the middle. As a businessman from East Blue, the result is good. I made money, and my wife even put a hat on me. Although I have a lot of concubines, but you dare to put a hat on me. Very good. Very good. This matter did not end like this, and it is impossible for it to end like this. This is something that he absolutely cannot accept, no. He came directly to the Island of Shadows, ready to hire the Island of Shadows, and put his wife and the man directly dealt with it. At this moment, Black Shadow Island has accepted the entrustment from 910. For Black Shadow Island, they have 2 rules. The first one. Black Shadow Island will evaluate. If I don't accept it, then I won't accept it. For example, you let me assassinate the 5 elders. UTM give Laozi all the wealth of the world, even Laozi can't do it. This is the first rule. The second rule is that you won't go back on your word. In other words, if 1 million buys a person's life, and Sombra Island has accepted the task, then next, even if you give 10 million, a billion, even 1 billion or more Bailey, will not accept it. These are the 2 rules of Sombra Island, and it is by virtue of these 2 rules, and the Sombra organization has been able to grow step by step and become a step by step because of its adherence to its own rules. One of the Dark Emperors above the sea. There is no doubt about it. Just like the man in front of him, he has given the reward, the transaction has been confirmed, and his wife has come to the island, but unfortunately, his wife's entrustment was not accepted, and you are welcome. The head was taken away. This is the only result, or in other words, this is the most important foundation of the Sombra organization. They place great importance on all of this. Rules. It represents everything. Only, some people have the power to break this rule. What is that? The man raised his head, full of daze, he seemed to see a black spot, but the next moment, the black spot was getting bigger and bigger, his eyes widened in disbelief, and he murmured, that is a whale. Boom. This huge whale smashed down in an instant, and in an instant it smashed around the Shadow Island, setting off a monstrous wave, the tumbling waves, as if to swallow everything up. This is really too much soon. The waves that erupted in a short period of time are really too terrifying. I don't know how to spread out hundreds of meters, or even thousands of meters, that is only a longer range. Not only that, but I don't know how many people were swallowed up in an instant under this monstrous ocean wave. What happened? 99. What's up? This man was dazed, and under the enormous pressure, he had already passed out on the ground, and at the same time, a large number of men in jet black suits came out, and the man headed it was a person with sharp eyes. He observed the huge whale in front of him and said with sharp eyes, is this a ship? 5. Click, click. As if it were deformed, the completely blocked top gradually opened and replaced it with a pirate ship. The flag of the Whitebeard Pirates emerged instantly. The difference is that the current Whitebeard Pirates, the logo has three logos: Devil, Whitebeard, and Qinglong, representing the three brothers Alan, Newgate, and Kaido. And now, as the pirate ship gradually unfolds, the man said solemnly, "Everyone, get ready for battle. This sign is the Edward brothers." 39. What? Is this the power of the three Edward brothers? Be good. Is this too big? This pirate ship? Everyone's eyes widened in shock. Isn't this too scary? This is the pirate ship of the three Edward brothers. It's like an island, isn't it? And what is hidden behind such a huge pirate ship? What? Right now, everyone is full of shocking expressions. It is simply impossible to imagine. This is really too powerful, right? I can't imagine it at all. How powerful is the opponent's strength? But, no matter whether you dare to imagine it or not, just when everyone is very puzzled, why did the three Edward brothers appear here, and the next moment? The war has already broken out, or the other party has already shot, and there is no hesitation at all. Oh hoo, roar. It was like the sound of a fierce tiger roaring, and Bagley's figure was like a black tiger that had been galloping past, and he rushed up in an instant. The speed was too fast, like an afterimage passing by. Stab it, stab it. Under the extremely fast speed, it brought a terrifying offensive, covering armament hockey's attack. Under the simple attack, with the aura churning, everything around seemed to be separated. Brush, swipe. The shadows were immediately beheaded, and Bagley's mouth grinned, and he said grimly, "Next. It will be more and more interesting, right?" Dash. Humph. A hideous smile appeared, and Bagley's expression became more and more hideous, even more terrifying. He swept over everyone one by one, and once again directly entered the battlefield without any hesitation. Without any hesitation at all. Black Tiger Bagley. Damn it. Sure enough, it's the three Edward brothers. Get ready for battle. The man at the head is named Number 10. As the name suggests, he is the number 10 killer of the Sombra organization. As one of the top killers of the Sombra organization, he naturally knows the intelligence of the three Edward brothers, and he is very clear. Who are the strong men under the brothers? Black Tiger Bagley, Sunfish Tiger. These two people are the two most powerful men under the command of the three Edward brothers. Besides, who else? Kill, kill, kill. With the roar, a large number of people immediately joined the battlefield. There were about 300 or 400 people in total. Although there were a total of 2,000 people over the years, the people who can really join the battlefield are basically there are about 300 or 400 people, and there will be no more. But, these 300 or 400 people are enough. Trouble. Number 10 looked around the battlefield. The other party was obviously prepared, it can be said. In terms of speed, it is really very fast, and basically everything has been prepared. And, the most important thing on the 10th is the huge pirate ship in front of you. In the open whale mouth of this pirate ship, there seems to be unlimited terror. The three Edward brothers are the most terrifying. Drink. Stop. 5. Jingle. Following this crisp and pleasant voice, Bagley grinned and said interestingly, "Who is this guy?" Number 7. Bagley saw the sign hanging on his body, and said interestingly, "Huh. Sure enough, the information is correct. Today is the day of your Sombra party. Basically all the killers are here. The top 100 killers are all it's here. This is the goal of our Whitebeard Pirates." The Whitebeard Pirates. Number 7 and number 10 are not idiots. The two of them immediately understood what it meant. The other party has already regarded themselves and others as tools of leeway. Back then, when Rock's Pirate was established, they directly attacked the franchised countries. And now, the establishment of the Whitebeard Pirates even directly attacked the Emperor of Darkness. It has been proved that Alan wants to surpass Captain Rock's idea, which can be said to have nothing to hide, and it can be said to be displayed vividly. 66.99. Number 7 and number 10 looked at each other, both felt the danger, not only that. Right now, Gollum, Gollum. The scorching breath and the boiling magma seemed to be coming, and when I felt this feeling, I saw Abel's wings fluttering slightly and floating in the air, and his arms had turned into scorching magma, which burst out in an instant. At the same time, empty shock, earthquake, seaquake. Although the strength that Camineo exerts is not strong, there is no need to doubt the development of shock fruit. The strength that can be exerted is all there, but compared to Newgate, it is not a level. Ha ha ha. Compared with other people, Bullet is even more ferocious. It directly combines various debris and other substances into a super huge cannon. It is assembled on top of his own fists like an arm cannon. Started a crazy offensive. 0. Abel, Carmenio, and Bullet joined the battlefield, while Marco said helplessly, "Alas. I'm still too young. Uncle, 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 and they won't let me join the battlefield." Sitting on the whale head of the Moby Dick, the three children, Marco, Jose, and Bista, are very helpless. Their age is indeed too young. At such an age, it is too dangerous to join the battlefield. Well, it's not necessary at all. Although it is said that Bullet and Carmenio are not very old. However, one thing you must admit is that the strength gap between the two sides is still very obvious, is still too young. 6 or 7 years old and 10 years old, the gap is still very obvious. At this point, it's really something that doesn't need to be doubted. In addition, Tezzolo, Bramank, the two little guys are not allowed to join the battlefield, their age is too young, and the others. They have already started their own battles, everyone is very serious. After all, this is almost everyone's first shot, and these sharp-edged little devils also want to show their strength. Otherwise, don't they live as uncles, fathers, and third uncles all their lives as good babies? This is absolutely impossible. Drink. Ha. 5. Doma, Skeward, and Makugai are all good kendo players. At this moment, they directly entered the crowd. After all, they were once apprentice pirates of Rock's pirate, and they should have the strength. Still without a doubt. Crackling. Brush. Brush. Under the extremely fast speed, the average person is not the opponent of the three of them at all, and they are easily dealt with. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. With a flick of the two knives in his hand, Doma looked around and said sharply, "It looks like the strength of the opponent is very good. However, I won't just admit defeat. This time, I have to what a great performance." Brush. Holding a pair of knives, Doma has directly joined the battlefield again, and Squard and Makuge are the same. The strength and speed of the two are extremely strong, and everyone wants to be good. Show it off. Murloc Karate, Jinbei, Namur, Ilawong, Karma, 4 people also joined the battle. Under the amazing offensive, the Fishman Karate was vividly displayed by the 4 people. Boom. Boom. The roar exploded, and Jinbei looked around and said seriously, "Then Mur, Ilawong, Karma, be careful, this is the real battlefield, if you accidentally die here, then it will be really dead." Quote. The other 3 nodded earnestly, and naturally they were ready. No matter what, since the opponent is here. They will not have any carelessness. Opponents, only vigilant. T. 5.9. Don't talk about such an opponent, no matter it is any opponent, you must only be vigilant, and the lion fights the rabbit with all your strength. This is absolutely very important. No matter it is against any opponent, you must use all your strength. Otherwise, if the opponent is overturned, it is already finished. There is only one chance, and only one failure, you can lose. But you must not fail, because failure means that you will lose your life, really at that moment. Then everything is meaningless, things are up. Therefore, at any time, it is absolutely impossible to have any carelessness. Gion, Whitey Bay. Gion and Wydib looked at each other, both of them were holding long swords, just like 2 beautiful flowers, but they showed amazing killing intent, one was very fast, and the other was full of endless killing intent. Of coldness and murderous intent. Under such an astonishing offensive by the 2, in a short period of time, they had already swept away all the enemies around them, and they were not opponents at all. And right now, Aboida and Andre both joined the battlefield at the same time, holding weapons respectively, and they both launched an attack immediately. Aboida held a shovel, and Andre was holding a long sword. The 2 joined forces, and under the astonishing offensive, they directly swept away the surrounding enemies. Short time. All the assassins were surrounded by Shadow Island, and these people had already been swept away, and the 2 number 7 and number 10 were almost unable to withstand this huge pressure. And at this time, in these little guys it's time for them to show their brilliance. And, others from Shadow Island have also arrived. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 157. The Invincible 3 Edward Brothers. Boom. Boom. The roar resounded, and the battle between the Whitebeard Pirates and the Sombra organization immediately kicked off. Both sides did not hesitate. The Whitebeard Pirates had to rely on this opportunity to let the whole world see their own strength. And the Sombra organization also knows what the 3 Edward brothers mean, these guys. If you don't show your strength, will it be easy to be bullied as Laozi? Roar. 39. Ow. A large number of Zone have also emerged. In theory, Zone's devil fruit is the cheapest, and the number is also huge. For killer organizations, many killers are Zone's demon fruit power, which is not surprising. Matter. Humph. Not worth mentioning. Tiger clenched his fists with both hands, posing as a fishman karate, full of arrogance, and a terrifying murderous aura emerged, followed by an astonishing force that immediately burst out, and a punch fell. Wow. 35. A mouthful of blood spit out, and a killer numbered 90 lost his life instantly, and his chest was shattered with a punch. Brush. Brush. And Bagley also fell with claws. Under the extremely strong power, in a short period of time, he has harvested a large number of killers' lives. Not only that, everyone can be said to show their own strength to the fullest, amazing the strength is definitely strong enough. Humph. The corners of Bagley's mouth twitched, and he said confidently, "Is this one of the Dark Emperors?" Stop joking. It's simply not worth mentioning. With such strength, is he worthy of being an opponent? Pooh. He spat in disdain, and Bagley's eyes were full of disdainful smiles, and his eyes were full of arrogance. He looked like Zone's human beast form, as a beast and beast fruit ability. Bagley's development of his devil fruit is also very amazing. In particular, under the combination of his own strength and the strength of the black tiger he has tamed, the strength he exerts is extremely amazing. As for talking, why can the strength of the black tiger be improved again and again? How can I say this? With the horse spell, it can be exercised anyway, as long as the body is fine, then 06 is cultivation. It is in such a state, the situation has already become beyond doubt. Kill, bros. Superior. With a roar from Bagley, all the little devils joined the battlefield. They all had a proud self-confidence and a proud posture. Each one was full of firm looks, and there was no retreat at all. Mean. Crackling. Boom. The deafening roar resounded, and the shadow organization that was the dignified Emperor of Darkness for a while had nothing to do with these people, you know. The three Edward brothers have not yet shot, and this is the most terrifying thing. When you face the opponent, the person who is prepared is not an opponent. Even the three Edward brothers did not make a shot. This is the most terrifying thing. If it was an ordinary pirate group, it wouldn't matter, but they are a dignified shadow organization. As one of the dignified Dark Emperors, is it only possible to have such strength? That's true, it's too embarrassing. Boom. Boom. The roar exploded. Right. Yes. 35. That's it. Quick. A large amount of information was sent out quickly, and everyone made a crazy roar. They really never dreamed that the final result would be like this. The three Edward brothers formed their own pirate group called Whitebeard Pirates. 5 months after the dissolution of Rock's Pirate, the three Edward brothers appeared with their own pirate ship, which was like a terrifying island-like whale pirate ship, although I don't know what it was called. But this is no longer important. Now we are sending out information. There will always be people interested. This is everyone's idea. Everyone is very busy. Everyone is like crazy, busy sending all this go out. Just kidding. If you can be the first to send out the information, it can sell for a lot of money. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. Looking at the dripping blood, the expressions of the three people are very ugly. No. 1. Number 2. Number 3. The three of them are the three masters of the Sombra organization, of course. They are not the last masters, but they are also the three most important people on the bright side. At this moment, the faces of the three people were really ugly. Facing the attack of the Whitebeard Pirates, they felt it was like a joke. It was just a group of little devils. The only people who were really famous in the sea were Bagley and Tiger. Most of the entire Sombra organization was suppressed and beaten. Number 1 yelled aloud in indifference. Number 2, this is the killer you trained. It's a shame. The three Edward brothers haven't shot yet, and this is the result. Humph. Number 2 snorted coldly, and said also very coldly, I don't need you to talk nonsense, it's just because of the sudden attack, a group of mere brats. If the members of the Sombra organization are there, their strength is it worth mentioning. I want to take a look, I think you are cheating. Kr. Looking at number 1 and number 2 who were arguing, at this time, number 3 said calmly, it's better for you two to be calm. I don't want to waste time with you two. What needs to be considered now is how to deal with the attack of the Whitebeard Pirates. The three Edward brothers did not take action. Don't you think that the three Edward brothers have become weaker in these 5 months? Humph. The three of them all snorted coldly, and their expressions were very ugly. It is undeniable. It is true. Wouldn't it be because the three terrifying Edward brothers have become weaker? If anyone really has such an idea, except for I didn't wake up. Seriously, I don't know how to describe it. You actually think the three Edward brothers have become weaker? That is simply an idea with a bag in your head, unless there is an accident. The three Edward brothers will tell you well what the next result will be. And what will you pay? Hee hee. Death. That may be the best thing, and now the three of them are looking at the increasingly crumbling battlefield, and their expressions are obviously ugly. It is undeniable. They also never thought that these little ghosts of the Whitebeard Pirates, one by one the strength is so amazing. What? I really want to participate in the war. Yes. 39. The 5 little guys, Marco, Jose, Bista, Tezzolo, and Bramank, were sitting at the head of the whale. They looked at the battlefield in front of them and were full of excitement. They also wanted to participate in it. Look, but they are just too young. And they are indeed too weak. If there is an accident, it will be very embarrassing. Because of this, Alan has issued a death order. Of the 5 of them, whoever dares to participate in the battlefield casually, then just hang up these 5 little devils for fishing, and if you're in doubt, then you can try. This is not. In the case of no other way, the 5 little devils can only be obedient, they can only be forced to be obedient, otherwise they will really be very unlucky. Woo. A puff of smoke came out. Alan sat in the room, and through the video phone bug that had been arranged, he spit out a puff of smoke, and said very casually, looks. It seems that the strength of the Sombra organization is probably the same thing. The second child, the third child, this is the so-called Dark Emperor. Is it too weak? Indeed. Newgate also agreed. It feels really weak, it shouldn't be. No matter what, he is also one of the Dark Emperors. As the top power in the world, is there only such strength? No matter what you say, at least there must be 1 or 2 admiral-level powerhouses, right? 99. I think it's quite normal. After all. 39. At this time, Kaido said casually, although it is said that superpowers and Dark Emperors have been trumpeted, they are quite powerful. But to put it bluntly, they are rich in background, basically there will be no problems, but in terms of pure strength, they are not necessarily how strong, maybe that is the case. What? Alan and Newgate were stunned for a moment. The two brothers rubbed their chins and thought while listening to the third child's words, and involuntarily evoked a smile. Alan said interestingly, "Don't say it. Your statement is still very possible. If there is no accident, it is really true. However, if this is the case, it is too boring, Laozi, but it's ready for battle." Alan is really bored and joking. "The reason I came to trouble the Dark Emperor is because I think that you have a good background, and you can fight with Laozi and make Laozi feel interesting. What's the result? With such strength, it's just like joking with TM. Don't you make me feel very bored. If I knew this earlier, I would go straight to Wanokuni for trouble. At least there are strong men like Kazuki Oden and Shimotsuki Nizumaru. I can't kill Silver Axe. Silver Axe's strength is also good. In any case, it is more interesting than the current situation, right?" Alan came back to his senses from his wild thoughts, but suddenly found that Kaido's figure had disappeared. He was stunned for a moment, and asked, "Where is the second, the third?" Newgate pointed to the big screen and said, "Brother. The third child found a person with good strength, but you were distracted, he just went to the battlefield." F***K. Alan was stunned, and at this moment, he suddenly found a good person, but when he turned his head, Newgate also left. F***K. Alan couldn't help but scolded. "You two little brats. It's really. Never mind. He didn't rob his younger brother, which was something he couldn't do anything about." He continued to lean on the sofa, and Alan quietly watched the battlefield, intending to see what happened next, and then it was over. On the battlefield. Boom. Boom. The roar of artillery fire resounded, and the battlefield has gradually fallen into a white-hot stage. At this moment, the battlefield can be said to be more and more intense, and no one knows what the next result will be. As this deafening roar resounded frantically, at this moment, the figure of number 3 emerged, and he said with indifferent eyes, "Little devils. You dare to shoot at Shadow Island, it takes effort." Roar. Dragon's breath. There is no nonsense at all, and a terrifying heat wave has already swept over. This monstrous breath made number 3 immediately retreat, and the next moment, the mace swept in. Thunder 8 trigrams. Not good. His eyes shrank. On the basis of pure strength, he was originally inferior to Newgate, especially in such a situation. Under the amazing offensive, although his reaction speed was quite fast, it was already it's too late, this speed is too fast. Boom. The terrifying mace smashed directly on him, knocking him out instantly, while Kaido stood in front of Abel with the mace, and said proudly, "You are a man who treats Laozi." What did the son say? Isn't he joking with Laozi? What does Laozi want to do? Do you still need to discuss it? 99. Just looking for death. Kaido is full of haughty and arrogant gestures, an idea that doesn't take these people in the eye at all. It doesn't mean anything, it's full of endless heroism and haughty. Cough cough cough. Number 3, who was directly smashed by Kaido, was coughing weakly. He 910 did not expect that Kaido's strength was so terrifying. To say it is really an opponent. That is not an opponent at all, the two sides are really not on the same level. Damn it. Number 3's face was ugly, and he said secretly, "This is only the third of the 3 Edward brothers. What if it was someone else? It's too terrifying. These guys are as powerful as monsters. For so many years. Number 3 is also a terrifying killer, but, because of this, he is very clear about the huge gap between his own strength and others. That is the real difference between heaven and earth. It is not an exaggeration. It is not a level of competition at all, or in other words. There is no comparability, so it is really more appropriate to describe it. Do not doubt. This is the real fact. There is really no comparability. The gap between people is very huge compared to the gap between people and animals. Edward's 3 brothers, like invincible strength, this is really the most terrifying. Woo. He let out a deep breath, and number 3 set his eyes not far away, just in time. Click. Empty shock. Goo la la la. Hey, hey. 35. What are you going to do to Laozi's son? Do you want to die? With this deafening roar, Newgate had already knocked out the number 2 who had just attacked, just like Kaido and number 3, the two sides were not on the same level at all. Opponent. Goo la la la. Newgate walked towards this step by step, looking at the two people and said, "You should be the number 2 and number 3 among the 100 assassins of the Sombra organization, right? It's not only this kind of strength, right? But really it's kind of boring." 5. Damn. 99. This kind of strength is not worth mentioning. Admiral died in the hands of this monster, but there are 2 people, and such a monster, at this moment. They have fallen into a desperate situation. Asshole. It's the second and third. So, what do you think the strength of the boss will be? That is the second Rock's pirate captain recognized by everyone, and he personally disbanded Rock's pirate. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Looking at the brothers, number 2 and number 3 also felt a headache, it was too terrifying. This power really made people feel endless fear, it was too terrifying. It seems to be an invincible power. Under the circumstances that the 2 adults are no longer there is no one in the entire Shadow Island who is the opponent of such a monster, let alone The three Edward brothers are not two people, and they are not the boss. Chapter 158. Behead. Destroy. Destroy Shadow Island. Number 2. Number 3. The expressions of the two of them were unusually heavy. They knew that they were not opponents at all. No, it wasn't just them. Even if the two of them joined forces, facing one of them would only be half a caddy. When the two of them join forces, they will persist for a while, and in the one-on-one situation, they are no longer a level opponent. This is absolutely beyond doubt, and this is the most terrifying thing. Because they are not a level opponent at all. Number 3. Trouble. What? It's really troublesome. Number 2 and number 3 looked at each other. The expressions of the two were very ugly. The most important thing is that although number 1 has yet to take action, it is almost the same, isn't it? Number 1's strength is compared with theirs. At most, the strength is half a caddy, which is not a level at all. If it continues like this, what will the result be? Actually, this is beyond doubt, or it is self-evident, because from the beginning to the end, it is not a level opponent at all. If it continues, then the result does not need to be said. Goo la la la. With this heroic laughter, Newgate grinned and said interestingly, Hey, do you two guys only have this kind of strength? That's too boring, Laozi. If I remember correctly, the Sombra organization should have 2 managers in addition to your 100 numbered killers, right? What about the 2 of them? Hurry up and let the 2 of them rubbish out. You 2 rubbish are not at all. Opponent. Snapped. Carrying the mace, Kaido said with disdain, so, you 2 rubbish, if this is the case, it's too boring. Hurry up. Listening to Newgate and Kaido, they have no intention of putting them in their eyes at all, they are full of killing intent. However, the fact is that they are not opponents of the same level at all, if they are not satisfied. Do not. Even dissatisfaction is meaningless, from the beginning to the end. The 2 sides are originally 2 levels of people, if this is the case. Then the next step is a dead end. No matter what the other party says, you can only passively to bear, there is no way. Who makes himself not the opponent's opponent at all? This is the only result. Bastard. Number 2's face was ugly, and he said in a low voice, if the 2 adults were here, you guys would be nothing worth mentioning at all. What? Hearing number 2's words, Kaido was stunned for a moment, and then bored. So it is. The 2 big men of your Sombra organization are no longer. It's really boring. Forget it. Forget it. Second brother. Let's end the battle as soon as possible, it is pointless to continue to delay. Indeed. Listening to Kaido's words, Newgate nodded in agreement. I thought it would be a good opponent. As a result, there are no more people, forget it. This time, it's good to use the Sombra organization to make a name for itself. As for everything else, you don't need to worry about it. No problem. 35. Brothers, you look at me and say a word. After knowing that the 2 big figures of the Sombra organization are no longer there, you will really feel bored. Such guys, you just deal with them casually. It really doesn't need to be too much. Take it too seriously, after all. In the face of garbage, do you need to take it too seriously? Totally worthless rubbish. Asshole. Don't look down on people. Hateful. As killers, number 2 and number 3 should have been calm enough, but what does this state mean at this moment? That is to simply treat them as ants. They are completely ignored. Idiots are absolutely unacceptable things, right? Court death. Kill. The 2 shot at the same time, but in the face of the 2's offensive, Newgate said disdainfully, third child, do you think they are idiots? Do you really think such an attack can be hidden? Who knows? Maybe there is something wrong with the head. 95. Kaido shrugged his shoulders and didn't see what these people were doing, his eyes were full of endless disdain. Next moment. Thunder 8 trigrams. Wow. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and Kaido's action actually swept a person behind him, and this person was the number 1 hidden in the dark, not a level opponent at all, and the number 1 was instantly swept away. Ooh. Kong Cloud cut. Air shock cut. On the front, Newgate was accompanied by heroic laughter, and he didn't show any mercy. Under the amazing offensive, there was a terrifying force that swept across the entire battlefield in an instant. They were all plunged into silence, which was too terrifying. Wow. Cough cough cough. Humph. Coughing weakly, or spitting out a mouthful of blood, but no. 1, number 2, and number 3 were simply ignored. This was not a one-level battle, it was a sweeping battle from start to finish. Even say, this is purely a battle that swept the end, and this kind of battle. For the entire battlefield, it is too boring. In fact, it is simply not taken into account. Is that all there is to it? 35. It's really boring. Is this the so-called Dark Emperor? Newgate and Kaido really find it boring. The battles the 2 brothers experienced in New World are often a near-death experience, even to say. They have experienced 10 death battles, and finally, they rely on terror, the strength of the abyss, step by step, came out of the abyss, the result is good. You are such strength. This is not a one-level battle at all. In other words, it is purely boring, anyway. In the eyes of the 2 brothers, this opponent is really too boring. What? Kaido breathlessly said, second brother. There is always a strange feeling that this is the strength of the Dark Emperor. Don't you mean, apart from being rich, these guys don't have any strength at all? 55. Ghost knows. Newgate shrugged and said, the devil knows what the situation is, I don't particularly understand it, forget it. It's not an important thing anyway, quickly deal with these three guys, and then deal with the battlefield. Is too weak. Yes, the two brothers are really bored, and it is really too boring. It is really not a one-level battle from beginning to end, and facing such an opponent. The two brothers feel that it is like wasting time here. Not to mention that it was handled casually, but in fact, it is almost the same thing. With such strength, I really don't need to take it seriously, I can only say that it is really too boring. Kong cloud cut, air shock cut. Dragon's breath. The two brothers looked at each other, and then suddenly shot, under the terrifying momentum, the attack that swept in, immediately cleaned up the three top killers. Clean up the battlefield. The two also looked at each other, and then they just cleaned the battlefield casually and it was over, after all. Such an opponent is probably just like that. There is really no need to take it too seriously, just deal with it casually. Done. How to say, if at the beginning, the attacks of the Whitebeard Pirates were all full of pride, and they looked like they were going to deal with their opponents, then now. I really feel very boring. What is this? Is that so? This is the Emperor of Darkness. UTM seem to be joking with me, this is not a one-level battle from beginning to end, and the two sides are not even comparable at all. Seriously, it's too boring. Even more meaningless. Completely meaningless. From start to finish, this is a crushing battle, and it simply does not show any strength, giving people a strange feeling. Actually, Newgate and Kaido are simply thinking too much. Under the circumstances that no one can compete with monsters like them, then the battlefield is a real one-sided battle. Do not doubt that in any battlefield, no one can be a monster. When compared, the result is beyond doubt. To be honest, why do everyone think that the three Edward brothers are almost the most powerful pirate group no matter if they form any pirate group? The reason is very simple. When no one can stop the attack of the three Edward brothers, then the battle is already set, the reason is so simple. Even calling it outrageous is not an exaggeration. If you think about it for a while, you will know, if no one can stop monsters like Alan, Newgate, Kaido, what will be the result of the final battle? Like a terrifying monster. Such monsters will sweep the entire battlefield, because you are not an opponent at all, even to say. There is no comparison at all, such a result. Naturally, it goes without saying. The whole of Shadow Island. Right now, it has fallen into the stage of being swept away, after all. In such a situation that you are not an opponent at all, no matter how hard you work, the final result is really meaningless, after all. It is really nothing, there is no comparison whatsoever, and in this case, the result is already doomed. The Whitebeard Pirates have achieved a complete victory. Not good. Come on. 39. Come on. As for the people who didn't participate in the battle, the rest of the Sombra Island's eyes narrowed at this moment, and they immediately felt something was wrong, just kidding. Seeing the way the Whitebeard Pirates look, it's really necessary to deal with them all. In other words, they have no intention of showing mercy. Therefore, they really don't dare to stay here anymore. Don't joke, if you continue to delay time with these monsters. Or, if you continue to waste time with these monsters and continue to waste time here, then it will be troublesome. If you are not careful, they will really die here. Thinking of such a possibility, almost instantly, they all escaped in a short period of time. But to be honest, they didn't expect that the Whitebeard Pirates would be so crazy. They even said that they would do such crazy things. Isn't that crazy? To be so ruthless, from the beginning to the end, almost nothing anything to be merciful. Just kidding, if this continues, what kind of thing does this have to do? Boom, boom. As the roar of artillery fire resounded, the Whitebeard Pirates didn't care at all about the people who escaped. As long as they weren't from the Sombra organization, if you left, you would leave, and I didn't come to you. Even though, the Whitebeard Pirates don't care about them. However, there is a saying that the Whitebeard Pirates have not yet reached such an invincible level. Under such circumstances, then, some things are still very worthy of attention. You need to pay attention. If you are not careful, if you provoke too many people, it will not be a good thing to be killed by people. After all, alerted. Can't be careless. It is absolutely necessary to be serious enough, at least. The strength of the Whitebeard Pirates has not yet reached such a level, wait until the future. Then naturally it does not matter. Boom, boom. With the roar of artillery fire, the entire battlefield is in full swing, and as time goes by, it seems that the curtain has come to an end, and at this moment, the entire battlefield seems to have become silent. Snapped, snapped. Following the indifferent footsteps, Alan lit a cigarette and said very casually, it really looks boring. Second, third, what do you think? What? Newgate shrugged and said very boringly, brother. Overall, it's really too boring. Not kidding, it's not a level opponent at all, just such a guy. It's really a point. None. With a look of boredom in his eyes, Newgate is really not joking, but is really too weak. It is not a joke, but it is really too weak. Yes. 39. Kaido nodded in agreement and said, I just think it's outrageous. With such strength, It is actually called the Dark Emperor. Could it be that the Dark Emperors are all so weak? I think the original Atom Kingdom is still very strong. Alan said casually. This is indeed undeniable. The strength of Atom's kingdom is still very strong. However, Nords, I estimate that this Dark Emperor is not so weak, just because the two leaders are not no more here. 35. Of course, even if the two leaders are here, it's nothing. Alan said it very lightly, but if anyone else hears this, it is estimated that the eyeballs will pop out. Do you know what the concept of three admiral is? You three brothers are three real admiral. And they are not the weak ones among admiral, no kidding. With such combat power, you are simply it's just like joking, who is fighting head to head with these three brothers? Isn't that the same as bullshit? Do you think it's possible? It's not a level at all. So, it's not that others are too weak, but that these three brothers are too strong. Normally, it is very good to have an admiral level powerhouse, and now there are three admiral level powerhouses. Just like a monster. Because of this is also the fundamental reason why the entire sea thinks that their three brothers are the most terrifying pirate group in this era. There is no way. Their strength is strong enough, and there is no need to doubt it at all. Woo. With a puff of smoke, Alan looked around, looking at the dilapidated Shadow Island, and said calmly, take good care of all the gold and silver treasures and materials for Laozi. Just kidding, since it is in this case, I want to see. What is the strength of the other party? Where's Uncle? We know. Yes. 35. With the roar, these little devils are also very excited. After all, this is their first real shot, and they are dealing with monsters like the Dark Emperor. Of course they are very excited. Everyone is very excited. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 159. You demons, ancient species, Paramesha, Great Harvest. The Devil of Fire. Dragon's Breath. Empty Shock. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, the three brothers floated in the air, without any hesitation at all, and without any mercy. In an instant, the power of terror fell directly. In the eyes of everyone, the Black Shadow Island has completely dissipated, like an afterimage, and disappeared without a trace in an instant. Under such terrifying power, it is accompanied by a feeling of the power of endless terror is too terrifying to make people feel the same. This power is too terrifying, it is simply unimaginable. Boom, boom. The monstrous roar resounded crazily, and the terrifying explosion sound resounded, accompanied by crazy power. The entire Black Shadow Island was under the attack of the three brothers without any hesitation. Directly it has been dealt with, from beginning to end, there is no comparison at all. Ha ha ha. Alan put one hand on his forehead and looked at the destroyed island below, his mouth grinned open, revealing an interesting smile, and said savagely, it's really boring. It's such a strength, it's really too weak, it's simply too weak. No need to pay attention. 35. Woo. After skillfully lighting a cigarette, Alan felt very bored. Is this the Emperor of Darkness? It's really boring. What? Newgate also agreed. Big brother. However, this is also the reason why the two masters with the Dark Emperor are no longer there, otherwise. It's not so weak. Kaido pondered and said. Although it is said that the core island of the Sombra organization has been dealt with, but it's probably like this, it won't really be completely without problems, big brother. Second brother. It is also necessary to guard against the counterattack of these guys. The two brothers nodded, of course knowing this situation, the other side would definitely counterattack. After all, as the Dark Emperor that has existed for hundreds of years, the Sombra organization has always existed for so many years, due to balance or other reasons, and it has developed steadily. The result. Now the Whitebeard Pirates have directly killed the nest. This is a shame. For them, this is simply unacceptable, even to say. This is unacceptable, okay. It's like a joke. As the dignified Emperor of Darkness, they were beaten like this by several pirates. That's just a shame to throw them home. No matter what, this is absolutely impossible to accept. Only, this thing. That's the next 910 thing, at least. There won't be any problems in a short time. Because, the strength displayed by the three Edward brothers definitely makes most people discouraged. The once Rocks pirate has reached a level of invincibility. Or, the Rocks pirate used to be too powerful, to the point where everyone needed to work together to deal with it, but obviously. The Whitebeard Pirates did not reach such a level, and under such circumstances, it was very interesting. Things are up. Who knows what the next result will be? Even to say, many people hope that you will suffer. Hehe. This is a very interesting thing. 35. After thinking about it for a while, Alan said casually, okay. Let's go back. This time, the reputation of the Whitebeard Pirates has been thoroughly smashed, let's see how the benefits are. That's right. That's right. The two brothers nodded in agreement, and Newgate said, I have seen a lot of good things, which make people feel very interesting. 5. Yes. Kaido also said with a big smile. I seem to have seen a devil fruit of a phantom beast. Ha ha ha. Goo la la la. Worororo. The three brothers were all laughing, and then left unanimously. The matter has been dealt with almost, and naturally there is no need to continue wasting time here. Wow. The super huge pirate ship Moby Dick is gradually moving towards the distance, and the speed is very fast, and such a huge pirate ship does not stop at all, it just goes straight to the red line, and like this the action is the most terrifying. There is no need for any hesitation at all, let alone any stay, this is enough. It's really great. Yes, it's really fun. Ha ha ha. One by one, the little devils are all getting together, and they are all laughing excitedly. It's so funny. It's so exciting. These little devils are very excited, after all. Many of them are actually participating in the battle for the first time, and it is very difficult to reach such a level for the first time. Not to mention, the battle they participated in was facing the mighty Dark Emperor. Isn't this kind of battle worthy of joy? Of course it is a joyful thing. They were all laughing happily. Snapped. Uncle, Dad, Uncle Third, 55. And with the sound of footsteps, and looking at the three people coming, everyone is saying hello, and of course someone is calling the second uncle. After all, they are Kaido's adopted sons, but these are all indifferent things. Right now, everyone has a happy smile, everyone is very happy, they really never imagined it. It would be like this, for a while. Everyone's aura has reached the limit, I really never imagined that the first shot would turn out to be like this. He tilde operator. Ha ha ha. Listening to the laughter of these little devils, Alan said casually, okay. Little brats, be honest for Lao Su. One by one, you all remember it for Lao Su. If you want to be the same as today, then just give Lao Su to practice hard, otherwise. You have no chance. Yes, Uncle. 55. Everyone nodded earnestly, but their eyes were full of endless firmness, and one by one was full of firmness. For these little devils, if you ask them to do something, then there is nothing meaningless things, let them feel such a scene, then it is the most interesting thing. Humph. The corners of his mouth twitched, and Alan nodded in agreement, that's right. A group of good little devils, but take me seriously. Yes. Everyone nodded with a smile. Alan waved his hand, a group of little guys spread out, and Neil walked over and said, brother, the harvest this time is really too huge, and among them, the most it's valuable, not because of how huge the income this time is, but Neil said with a serious expression, the information collected by the Sombra organization for so many years. As well as the information of the characters, these are the most important. This kind of information is possessed by the Four Seas, the Grand Line, and the New World, and now. All of this is in our hands, and for us, it is the most important thing. The three brothers also nodded. It is undeniable to say. This thing is indeed the most important thing. For the Whitebeard Pirates, there is indeed a lack of some of the most important things. What is it? It's actually very simple. Information. No matter what it is, the major forces all have their own intelligence networks. This is what the Whitebeard Pirates lack the most, How to say? The three Edward brothers really don't care so much at all, dissatisfied. Then I just go all the way and kill you. This is the character of the three brothers, and it has always been the case. When they need information, they buy from Shaki. Don't talk about spending money. But this situation is still not very good, the information cannot be mastered, but there is a huge problem in his own hands, and this is the most important problem. Now, obtaining the information of the Sombra organization for so many years is definitely something worth paying attention to. After thinking for a while, Neil continued, in addition, all the gold and silver treasures are still being counted. However, the number of these things is very large, it will take a while, and finally, all kinds of supplies. 99. Overall, it's really huge in terms of revenue, and it's even bigger AGFJ than it was when we attacked Red Line. Neil is right, after all. This time, the base camp of the Sombra organization was really harvested, and what happened in the past. Although, the previous attack also harvested the Red Line's trading city. But, one thing you have to admit is that in the past, it was more about harvesting the trading city. Instead of saying that you really swept everything, there is still a very big difference. Because of this, the income I have received in the past is really not much, let's talk about it. When people do transactions in the trading city, it is not to say where their lives and wealth are, and where they are stored, they are almost done, and it is even more impossible to put everything away. Where are they placed? Alan nodded, sat down directly, and asked, what about other than that? Neil pondered. Besides, there are 25 devil fruits, these 25 are devil fruits that have no use at all after being compared according to the devil fruit illustrations. Basically they are garbage, and I guess they are useless. The three brothers are very calm. These 25 devil fruits are what Alan will directly swallow. After all, for these garbage devil fruits, they really don't care. After all, it's really useless. Just kidding, all the devil fruits the brothers need are top quality devil fruits, and they will definitely be top quality devil fruits for their own cubs. Otherwise, wouldn't it be embarrassing? Now, the remaining devil fruits in the hands of a group of people are transpiration fruits, hot fruits and mini fruits. Other devil fruits are not interested, after all. These devil fruits are not particularly useful. Neil continued. My subordinates, among these devil fruits, found a lot of good paramesha devil fruit. Paramesh's frozen fruit and arc fruit, all of which belong to the inferior devil fruit of frozen fruit and thunder fruit. All aspects are excellent. Oh, 35. Alan raised his eyebrows, but he didn't expect to find these two devil fruits. Frozen fruit, as the name suggests. If frozen fruit is itself incarnated into ice, then frozen fruit can control the freezing gas. In theory, it can exert a very similar ability to frozen fruit, but it does not have the ability of elementalization. But, anyway, this is also a very good devil fruit. Alan pondered, this devil fruit can be given to this little girl in Whitebeard. Newgate pondered, it is indeed possible. It is very suitable for the little girl of Whitby. As for the arc fruit, 99. Alan pondered, and said, the arc fruit is quite suitable for Makugui, after all. Makugui is also good at lightning fast offensive, and the arc fruit ability is also very suitable. Arc fruit. As the name implies, it is devil fruit that can control the arc. Compared with thunder fruit, it is certainly not on the same level in terms of its terrifying power. It is indeed much worse, even to say. There is no comparison at all. Under such circumstances, what is the manifestation of the arc fruit? Exactly. The manifestation of the arc fruit should be called a slight stimulation. The arc is attached to the weapon, which can increase the cutting force of the weapon, and you can slightly stimulate your muscles through the arc, so that you can play very well. Strength. 99. Newgate also nodded in agreement, the power of this devil fruit is also very good. Except for the two Paramesha devil fruits, the other Paramesha devil fruits are nothing powerful. However, other than that, the others are not worth mentioning. No problem. Alan nodded, Neil's stats are definitely not a problem then. Just kidding, Neil has never been wrong in this regard over the years, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Just kidding. If only Neil had been wrong for so many years. Then there would be no one else who wasn't wrong. There is absolutely no doubt about it, and Neil will not have any problems in this regard. Besides, the most important thing is a new demon's devil fruit. Dog fruit, phantom beast, Oguchi god form. 35. Alan was stunned when he heard this devil fruit, but he didn't expect that this devil fruit was obtained at this time. This is the daughter of the third child in the original book, which is Yamato's devil fruit, which is the standard filial daughter. Seriously, there is no such filial daughter. I just can't imagine it, right? Anyway, Alan thought it was outrageous. If Kaido still had Yamato as his daughter, he would definitely have to educate this little girl as an uncle. It's not good to like someone, but he likes that idiot Kazuki Oden. It's just a brain problem, the embodiment of the standard nature. It is absolutely not allowed. This is her great niece. This devil fruit. 99. Kaido thought about it. Big brother. There is no suitable candidate, this devil fruit should stay first. 95. There are big brothers. 9. Anyway, Neil thinks that is probably the case. Mainly following the three big brothers, look at what high-end stuff these are, and the result. This ancient species is probably the same thing. Alan nodded and thought for a while. Second child, do you think this giant spider fruit is suitable for this kid Skeward? He is quite suitable for this devil fruit. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Newgate also nodded. No matter what, the elder brother is indeed right, this is indeed very suitable. Alan waved his hand and said, whatever, this devil fruit really doesn't have any suitable candidates. These little devils in the family don't have any suitable candidates for this devil fruit, by the way. Neil, are there any other devil fruits? 35. Neil nodded immediately and said, there is also a devil fruit in the form of a spider fruit, an ancient species, and a giant flat spider. It is an ancient extinct spider, in terms of strength. Maybe that's what happened. Chapter 160. The Whitebeard Pirates. Ring the world. Shadow Island. Shadow Organization. This incident swept the entire sea in an instant like a storm. The news that the three Edward brothers formed the Whitebeard Pirates swept across the sea in an instant. More than that. Brother Edward. Whitebeard Pirates. A bunch of bastards. Horrible pirate ship, it can be said. All the news made the whole sea stunned in a short period of time. What is the situation? Such a huge news broke out in such a short period of time, and it directly swept the entire sea, and everyone who knew the news was stunned for a while. Gudong. Gudong. Roger took a big mouthful of drinking, and when he saw all this, he couldn't help but stunned. Seriously. Really, I really didn't expect it. These three guys are really crazy enough. However, this pirate ship is really too large, isn't it? Looking at the Moby Dick on the newspaper in front of him, Roger couldn't help smacking his tongue. It was too huge. It was as huge as an island. She let out a sigh of relief. This is really too large a pirate ship, right? Rayleigh also nodded and said, this pirate ship is indeed huge. However, not only that, I think this pirate ship may have very powerful strength, otherwise. This pirate ship cannot be simply built. Point 35. After all, if it's just for the sake of being big, then for the three Edward brothers, it seems to be absolutely unnecessary, or even meaningless. 35. Rayleigh saw it very clearly. He pushed his glasses and continued. Besides that, the Whitebeard Pirates chose the Sombra organization, one of the Dark Emperors, for their first action, obviously. The ambition of the three Edward brothers. It is also very huge, and they show it very clearly. Ha ha ha. Roger laughed and said. Yes. Yes. Even the original Rocks Pirate, when they first acted, they only acted against an allied country, and the result. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, these three guys, it was the first time that the action was directly aimed at the Dark Emperor, and the base camp of the other party was directly destroyed, but it was really terrifying. But, 35. Roger shook his head and said, it's also the reason why the two big men with the Dark Emperor are not there, otherwise. Rayleigh directly interrupted Roger's words, and said seriously, Roger, you can't be careless, even if they are there, what can you do? Whitebeard and Qinglong are already enough to block. And Alan, a lunatic, do you think if what would it be like to join the battle? Hearing this, Roger was also stunned for a moment, but then nodded in agreement. That's true. This matter is indeed not as simple as it seems, it is undeniable. The strength of the Whitebeard Pirates. It's really scary. That's right. 99. Rayleigh nodded and said. At one time, it was just because the Rocks Pirate was too strong, so it gave people a feeling that the three Edward brothers didn't seem to be that strong, but when Rocks Pirate was dealt with, you will find out how amazing the three Edward brothers are. That's right. At any time, one thing you must admit is that the three Edward brothers are really not weak. Even the three Edward brothers are powerful and terrifying, above this sea. With the dissolution of Rocks Pirate, that's what really unfolded. But, the Roger Pirates can indeed be compared. Roger, Rayleigh, Jabba, these three monsters are all here, but what if it was in the past 10 years? Or 20 years? Hee. Then everything will be different. It will be very terrifying. Because of this power, it will become more and more terrifying. This is the most terrifying thing, those little devils in the Whitebeard Pirates, the powerful but not in the minority. So, don't think the Whitebeard Pirates are weak, and when this terrifying monster grows up, then the whole world will feel terrified about it. Gia ha 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 ha. Gia ha ha ha. With the familiar, crazy laughter, Shiki laughed horribly. Alan, Newgate, Kaido, you three guys, sure enough, didn't disappear. So, you three guys are in build your own pirate ship. 35. With a sharp gleam in his eyes, Shiki looks like an idiot when he talks a lot. But, that is Shiki's character. In fact, Shiki is still a terrifying monster. He can see at a glance what is going on. These three guys are just waiting for their pirate ship. A pirate ship like a whale. 35. As big as an island. Gia ha 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 ha. Really? Shiki narrowed his eyes and said sharply. Alan, your ambition is to conquer this world. Besides, you are actually making a move on a guy like the Dark Emperor. I seem to be a lot of shame. Cut. Disdainfully curled his lips, Shiki felt that he might be ashamed. Even though, during this period of time, the Flying Sky Pirates have attacked more than 10 allied countries. It has even reached the number of 20 allied countries, but allied countries are allied countries. Something worth mentioning. Because of that, it's not a strong core at all, it doesn't show the power of the airborne pirates at all, and it can't compare to Alan's Whitebeard Pirates. Look at people. Look at you again. From going out to sea, people directly attacked a Dark Emperor. And they directly controlled their base camp. You look amazing, but in fact, you can't take advantage of the record compared with others. Gia ha 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 ha. In that case, Shiki's eyes flickered with ferocious eyes, raised his head, and said sharply, little brats. Are you all ready? Oh who. In response to Shiki, there was a deafening roar, and with this terrifying roar, all the pirates of the Flying Sky Pirates seemed to be crazy, and Shiki said fiercely, little brats. Target Atom Kingdom. Roar. The crazy roar echoed. As for the final result, this is something that cannot be determined. Wow, wow. As the waves churned, Silver Axe frowned as he looked at the newspaper in his hand, and thought a little, these three guys have appeared. And looking at the newspapers of the Moby Dick, to be honest, the Silver Axe is also full of shock. Is this pirate ship too large? It has reached an unimaginable level. Too large. It's completely unimaginable, but the more this is the case, the more Silver Axe senses the arrival of danger, and secretly said, according to the character of that guy Alan, it is impossible to let Laozi go. Humph. Silver Axe's face was extremely ugly, and he knew very well that, according to Alan's character, since he had already gone to sea, then, according to the contradiction between the two, it was impossible for this guy Alan not to shoot himself. It really gives me a headache. Silver Axe really felt very uncomfortable, and said secretly, now with my strength, I want to face the three of them, but I'm not an opponent at all. It's really a headache. The best way is, quote, alliance. 99. Damn. 35. Silver Axe clenched his teeth. If possible, Silver Axe certainly doesn't want to form an alliance. But, Silver Axe is not an idiot, he can see that if he does not choose to form an alliance, then he will definitely die matter. With his own strength. Want to face the three Edward brothers. It's not a level opponent at all. With this silent sigh, Silver Axe also knew his choice. Wow, same. Accompanied by the sound of the surging waves, John looked at the newspaper in his hand drunkenly, and said helplessly, "It's really a headache." Silver Axe came over, the 3 Edward brothers, these 3 guys, one by one. Is it like this now? Obviously. Silver Axe's phone bug has already called, but John didn't agree immediately. John's meaning is very simple: if Akoku agrees, then there is no problem. It is undeniable to say. John is not an idiot, but John also understands that he is definitely not Akoku's opponent when it comes to playing with his brain. In that case, let Akoku think about it. If Akoku agrees to form an alliance, then it is the most suitable thing. If it were different, John said, this is a problem between you and the 3 Edward brothers. If Laozi does not participate in it, then the other party will not do anything to Laozi, so I say. In this matter, Laozi really does not need to be involved. Therefore, anyway, John's is quite calm. Anyway, it's an attitude that doesn't care. This matter is your business, if you find Laozi's head. Well, Laozi really has no opinion. But, in fact, it can be seen from this that John also has his own crazy side. Otherwise, he would not want to participate in it. For many people, they would rather avoid it than participate in it, and John still it is because of this idea that he can see that he also has his own ambitions. Comma. As the phone bug hung up, Akoku's expression was very calm. He squinted his eyes, brushed his beard, and thought a little about something. Silver Axe's phone bug, John's phone bug, Akoku has naturally received it. And, at this moment, Akoku is also thinking about this question. Whether to participate in it. First, the undeniable thing is that the strength of the Whitebeard Pirates is indeed very terrifying, there is no doubt about it. In addition, the second point is that if you want to participate in it, then there is also a fundamental the reason. Does it have this power? This is the most important thing. Woo, Akoku rarely smokes, and now he is breathing out a thick puff of smoke, murmuring, so. Should Laozi get involved? And what will happen next? I'm looking forward to it too. In other words, I want to see what the next result will be. We've already reached this point, it would be too embarrassing to back down here. Akoku murmured, and there was a sharp light in his eyes, and he said no joke. For these guys, everyone is like this, since they have chosen to embark on this path. So, they all have their own ambitions, and in that case, it would be too embarrassing to back down here. How is it possible to back down here? A killing intent emerged, and Akoku's aura became more and more terrifying. He wouldn't back down here, and Silver Axe was ready. Come on. Then let's try it out and see what the final result will be. I also want to see what the outcome of everything is, and what the final future looks like. Even if it fails, I don't care at all. I can't accept failure. Point 0. Crackling. Boom. The violent storm suddenly fell, and with this terrifying storm, Barorik looked at the newspaper in his hand with a smile on his lips, and said interestingly, Alan. Ambition. A faint smile appeared, and Barorik had already guessed this situation. Indeed, if it is said that the whole Rocks pirate is the person who knows the 3 Edward brothers the most, then it is definitely Barorik. Except for Barorik, other people don't know much about the 3 Edward brothers. After all, for other people, they are just enemies, and under such circumstances, it is naturally impossible to know more, this is beyond doubt, but Barorik is different. Does Barorik have ambitions of his own? Balorik's ambition is very obvious, that is, the strongest position in the world. Yes, Barorik and Alan have very similar ambitions. That is the strongest in the world. For Barorik, he wants to become the strongest in the world. Not only because of his own ambitions, but also because of his own blood. As a descendant of a nobleman, Barorik has his own ambitions. And for his own ambitions, he is very firm, no matter what he is. Will not give up. Therefore, for a long time, Barorik has been working hard to become stronger. He has to grow up. Only in this way can he grow into the top of the world step by step. This is the ambition of Barorik. For K, only strength is the most important, this is the seriousness of his heart. Slightly let out a sigh of turbidity and walked to the window. Barorik quietly looked at the rainstorm outside the window, thinking about something. Master. The maid walked over step by step and said respectfully, are you ready to rest? P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. It is true that Barorik does not have his own crew, but he has these family members who belong to him. For Barorik, these people are the most important and the most important foundation. That's all about Barorik. Barorik's attitude towards the little maids in his house is completely different. These little maids have a very high status. For Barorik, although they are maids in name, they are actually like his own relatives, this is the heart and peace of Barorik. For Barorik, the result of all this is completely different. These little maids aren't idiots, not even idiots. They are very smart, after all. They are all children raised by Barorik, and each of them is very serious. Do not worry. In a moment, the maid thought for a while and said, Master. It's not easy to say, but It can be seen from this that the Whitebeard Pirates and the Edward brothers have terrifying ambitions, and their ambitions surpass the previous ones. Rock's pirate. Baloric said very calmly. Look at this news, what do you think?